going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Hopefully you are here with me on the live stream. Go ahead, and if you're here really quick, just so that I know that everything is working well, go ahead and just type something in the chat. Let me know that you're here. Maybe tell me who you are, what you're, where you're from. Go ahead and help me out here. I just want to make sure this is the first time we've done this. So I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. I can see you, meaning I can see you in the chat. And we'll go there. Hello, Eric. Welcome to the session today. Can you guys all hear me okay? We're gonna have some people that pop in here. Let's see. Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, that video at the dentist was just random. And it was good. It looks like you guys can hear me okay. Just so you guys know, there's about a 30-second delay. What's going on, Steven? Good to see you, man. There's about a 30-second delay between what I'm saying and what you're hearing. So if at any point you guys cannot hear me, because I have had some tech issues today with my microphone, if at any point you cannot hear me, please let me know in the chat. What's going on? Fantastic. All right, guys. Hey, I don't want to waste your time. This call has the possibility of going long, and it's gonna go. It could go 30 minutes. It could go 60. It could go 90. It could go a couple hours. But my goal is that however long it takes, I'm going to answer all your questions. I'm going to show you everything that I can. If there's anything that I forget to show you, please let me know. And I'll be happy to cover it. Like I said, if you guys have questions, please comment below. There is a delay on here, so I will be checking them the whole time. So if there's anything that you guys need help with, or you guys have questions, if I don't explain something well enough, please let me know. Also, if you're watching this and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do me a huge favor and hit subscribe right now. Just subscribe to my channel. That would be most appreciated. That would be awesome. And like I said, this could go on for a while. So if you're catching this on the replay, please also subscribe, but then comment below with any questions that you guys might have, and I'll be happy to answer them as well. Now, real quick, I want to take attendance here. My screen says that we have about 40 people watching. What I'd like to know is if you're a mortgage lender, please, mark that down. Let me know in the chat. Are you a mortgage lender? Are you an insurance agent? Where are you located? Just so that I can kind of take attendance here. So, Kathy, Canton, yes. Go ahead and just let me know in the chat if you're a mortgage lender, if you're a broker, if you're an insurance agent, or whatever it is that you might do. Just let me know. I just kind of want to get a gauge as to who we have here. I know we have some insurance folks. I know we have some mortgage folks, but just let me know down in the chat. Let me know your location, and if you are watching this on replay, also please let me know. Now, I want to kind of preface and say, kind of get into this because I've had a few people ask me why am I doing this. And I'll be very transparent with you. First off, I want to tell you that this is not a webinar. This is not a sales video. This is not a pitch. I'm going to talk about our program for the course. I'll mention it because it'll give context to things, but I'm not here to pitch anything. I'll tell you why I'm doing this. I'll be very upfront with you. My goal is to build my channel here on YouTube in a way that attracts people that want to watch my content. I fancy myself as a marketer, but more than that, I love to be an educator. I love educating and teaching. I just find joy in it. And YouTube gives me a really good platform for that. Now, YouTube also rewards content creators that they find valuable in two ways. Number one, they distribute the content to more people. So that allows me to teach more people and educate more people. But, the big lofty goal, and we're not there yet, but the big lofty goal is to get to a spot where I'm not making money from you. You guys don't pay me, but I'm making money from YouTube. That would be great. That's a pipe dream, but, you got to start somewhere. So the best way to do that is to make content that people want to watch and to make content that people want to engage in. So the more that you engage, the more that you guys watch, the more that you share, that's going to help the channel. That's why I ask people to subscribe. That's why I ask people to watch, because it tells YouTube that this is important stuff. And if it's important stuff, then they'll show more and more people. So that's really the whole goal. And there are probably a number of people here. You might have saw the we got a lot of mortgage people. That's fantastic. We have a lot of people have asked me, because I've seen it announced other things, and maybe third or fourth party people were wondering, who am I and what this is all about. So my name is Nicholas Ayers. I do own Major League Video Marketing. We do train and teach people. We coach people in a group and in one-on-one sessions on how to use YouTube ads to generate new leads and new sales. That is what we do. And we generate a lot of mortgage leads. I work with a lot of people that generate mortgage leads. We have a lot of experience generating mortgage leads. We have people in our program and people that we work with that generate leads and they close loans. It's a weird concept. Most of you guys are probably used to Facebook ads, to generate leads or other types of online leads. I just have a real strong bias towards YouTube because I believe it gives me a better qualified lead. The intent is higher. The quality tends to be higher. No online lead is perfect. They're not going to be perfect, but they are better. They are the best that I've been able to see. We have one person who between the week of Christmas and New Year's took in 125 leads, and he's got 8 pre-approvals. So it's pretty good. And his lead cost is about $2.51. So we do that all the time. So when it comes to, okay, does Nick know what he's talking about on this? I do believe I know what I'm talking about on this. And we have a lot of proof, a lot of case studies, a lot of people who are using this. I use this myself, and it's fantastic. I'm not a loan officer, but I work with a lot of loan officers, generate leads for a lot of loan officers. So with that being said, let's get into it. The first thing that we need to do, and I'm actually going to share my screen here, and you guys are going to have to bear with me a little bit. I'm acting as talent, on-screen talent here, as well as producer and tech guy. So you guys are going to have to bear with me here as I try to move. This is not going to be a highly, there's not going to be a lot of production value to this. There's going to be a lot, there's going to be some pauses. There's going to be some spots where I got to change screens, and that's just the way it is. So I'm going to share my screen here, and let's minimize this. Let me pull up Microsoft OneNote. If you work with us, you know that I love Microsoft OneNote. It allows me to take notes, allows me to write out concepts and all that good stuff. So if you guys have questions, please put them down below. I will be checking them right now. All I can see is my screen, but I will come back to your questions. So let's talk about the major components of a YouTube ad. The first thing that is most important is your script. We're going to talk about a script. We're actually going to write a script on this call, and we're going to put one together. And I'm actually going to show you kind of the basis of what I use for script writing. And so if you're watching this in your mortgage, you'll be able to use this script or a very clear, similar representation of one as it fits your brand. But we have to have our script, and our script is the most important part of the video. I'm a firm believer that copywriting is the most important element of marketing. People buy things based on what they hear, based on what they read. They buy stuff based on words, right? Whether it's through sales or through interest on what they read or hear. And so copywriting is the strongest pillar when it comes to your marketing efforts, whether it's Facebook ads, direct mail, email marketing, any of those things. You have to have really good copy. It's no different on video. You have to have a good script. You have to say the right words. And here's a big mistake that most people find when I work with lenders. Here's the big mistake that they do. And this is true almost of every niche, insurance, financial services, is they make it all about what they know. They make it all about the legalese, the jargon. They make it very mathematical. And that's a big no-no. You don't want to make it mathematical. And you can't make any of your marketing that way. That's not gonna be good. Mathematical is not very good. What you need to do is you need to learn the art of it, and by that I mean the things that are going to tap into different aspects to why people are making decisions. If we think about ourselves, we like to think that we make decisions that are logical all the time, that are rooted in just what I call just the 1 + 1 = 2 type way of thinking. That's just not the case. In fact, it's not the case really for anybody. Most people make decisions based on emotional reasons and emotional factors. They make emotional decisions, and that's how buying things work. And if you think about a house, it's a really big investment. It's a really, some people are going to spend $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on this purchase. And if you just try to go at it and head on with that, you're going to have not as much success. But you have to tap into the reasons why people are wanting to buy a house. You have to tap into the reasons why people are looking to move. And usually it's a combination of multiple things. It's status, right? They want to live in a better neighborhood. Security, right? And those are really the two. Those are two big drivers, right? And security, and these are broad terms. Security can mean a lot of things, not just safer neighborhood, but it could be financial security. It could be, the fact that they want to just feel safe in the decisions that they're making or where they're living. And status, goes without saying. People want to live in nicer homes and bigger homes, and some people just want to live in homes. They want to go from renting to buying. So those are emotional reasons, and if we can tap into those emotional reasons, that is going to be beneficial in our marketing. So when we think about our script, we have to really hone in on what our offer is. And our offer is going to be the thing that's most attractive. Now, let's before we get into that, let me just back up just 1 second and say this. When it comes to YouTube ads, you've got 5 seconds to get what you need out. 5 seconds before they can hit skip. And if they skip your video within 30 seconds, just for some context, if someone skips your video within 30 seconds, you don't pay for the ad. You're only paying for ads on YouTube when someone watches 30 seconds or more, or they click on the ad to go to your website. So we have 5 seconds before they can skip. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to spend that 5 seconds going, "Hi, my name is Nick with ABC Mortgage." Skip. Skip. I don't want to watch that. You have to give people in that 5 seconds, you have to give them something that's desirable. You have to give them what they want. Here's a hook that I go with all the time that's really, really effective. I tell people, I'm looking for people who want to buy a home within the next 60 days. That's what I want. I want to attract those people. And I put a time base on it for a couple of reasons. Number one, if they indicate that they are wanting to move within 60 days, I know that they're serious. Now, we've got all kinds of other things we've got to uncover: credit, income, all that stuff. We know that. But first thing I need to do is get in the batter's box with people and say, do you want to move? Yes or no? And if you want to move, let's attract people that are actually serious. And I go with 60 days, knowing that for most people, most circumstances, 30 days of that is escrow. But I'm telling them, you want to buy your dream home within 60 days. And with that hook, when I tell them that they can own their dream home within 60 days, that's an attractive hook for people. It's not, and I'm getting that out within the first 5 seconds before they can skip the video. Now, we're going to talk about targeting next, but based on our targeting, we're getting in front of people that Google knows wants to move. They've indicated that they want to move based on the websites that they've gone to, based on the content that they've watched, based on what they're reading, based on the fact that they're going online and looking at online calculators. They're comparing loans. Google has a really good idea that these people might want to move. And so if I can get in front of them with the offer of move within 60 days, buy your dream home within 60 days, that is powerful. There's a couple of words I always like to avoid, and I think I even said one of them in this rant, but words to avoid. I never say buy, because that, now we know what that means, right? I don't say buy a home. I always say own a home. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. Own a home within 60 days. How would you like to own your dream home or move into your dream home? One of the, that's a variation. I don't like to say I'm buying a home in 60 days. The reason I don't like to say I'm buying a home in 60 days is, to the viewer who has the attention span of a goldfish, all they think about is money. Whoops. And a buyer shield comes up. So I don't want to do that. I can accomplish the same exact thing by saying, how would you like to move into your dream home? How would you like to own the keys to your dream home? Those things it's the same thing, but it's more, it's put in a way that's more desirable to the viewer. So when we think about our script, we have to think about our offer, which is going to be the first thing we lead with, and how can we make that irresistible? How can we make that attractive? Anything that requires the brain to have to work, or anything that institutes the fight or flight mentality in my brain as a human, anything that involves risk, my brain automatically, subconsciously goes, I don't want that. I don't want that. And that's what leads to people who have higher skip rates. And you don't want people to skip your video. You want people to watch it. If they're watching your video, there's a good chance that they're going to want to buy something from you. So that's what I always do. I avoid using the words buy. And within that first 5 seconds, I'm really trying to hone in on what the most desirable, attractive aspect of their life is. They want better status. They want more security. How can I wrap my offer around that? How can I make it so easy to understand that my 6-year-old understands it? Now, I deal a lot with mortgage loan officers, brokers, insurance agents. And the one thing that we like to do as financial service experts and professionals is we like to use bigger words. We like to use words that are confusing. And we like to use words that just kind of bounce off the human brain because they don't understand it. It's not absorbed. And that could be problematic. So you have to really avoid talking about those things. I don't want you opening up your video saying, hi, my name is Susie from Stockton, California. Hi, my name is Billy from Austin, Texas. Hi, my name is John from, ABC Mortgage. Number one, you've burned a lot of real estate in the first 5 seconds. You've got to hit them right with the offer. Right when your video starts, I want you guys to hit them right with the offer. Nothing else. Do not talk about anything other than your offer in that first 5 seconds. You've got 30 seconds to build on that offer. And the ways that you're going to build on it, we're going to get on it next, but you have to make this like candy. This has to be sweet, delectable candy for the viewer. If it's not, they will bounce and you get no shot. Now, it's great you didn't pay for it. That's great. But if you actually want to make sales, and if you actually want to get leads, and if you actually want to have conversations with folks, you have to make this part of the video very desirable. Very desirable. I'm going to cut over here to the notes or to the comments. I just want to see if anybody has any questions. Let's see. Yes, the same process you're learning today can be used in other niches. And Trevor, if you stay tuned on the channel, we're going to, as weeks go on, we're going to hit more of these topics. Alex, we'll get to those questions. That's further down. Yeah, I do have OBS. I don't like the interface, Fox Mortgage. Great. Kathy, we're only going to focus on mortgage today. That's all we are focusing on. Okay, great. So just want to make sure that that is widely understood. So the way that we build this out, we have to think about this in a framework. We have 5 seconds to really get them interested. So I'm just going to put this in 1 to 5 seconds. I want you to hit them with 1 to 2 sentences of an offer. And I want you to give your offer the 6-year-old test, meaning if a 6-year-old doesn't understand your offer, it's too complicated. So in the first 2 sentences, which you're going to have 5 seconds, you need to paint the picture, give them a strong offer. Again, my go-to a lot of times is, how would you like to own the keys to your, how would you like the keys to your dream home? Or how would you like to hold the keys to your dream home in the next 60 days? Simple. How would you like to have the keys to your dream home in the next 60 days? I got that out within 5 seconds. It's a hook that they understand. It's attractive to the right people based on the targeting. And now they're going to give me a lot more attention to hear what else I have to say. Now, beyond the 5-second mark, that's when the skip button comes up. You guys are familiar with the skip button. You probably skip all the YouTube ads that you get shown. Hopefully not mine, though. So right after that, we have to build on the offer. And what I like to do is I like to reframe that offer. I like to say it basically again in just a different way. So what that will look like is, how would you like to own the key, or how would you like to hold the keys to your dream home in the next 60 days? Another thing I like to do, and you can put in there, and it will be a nice little touch in that first 5 seconds, is to build a location into that. So for me, I say Arizona or California or Texas. How would you like to own the home? How would you like to hold the keys to your very own Texas dream home, Arizona dream home, California dream home, Rhode Island dream home? Build location affinity so it is a good pattern interrupt in the viewer. When the viewer is on their phone, right, and they're looking to watch the Joe Rogan Experience, and then they see an ad, and Google already knows this behind the scenes who they are, it shows them an ad about buying a home. It says, how would you like to own the home, keys to your Michigan dream home? And they live in Michigan. Or if you do it by city location, so it could be Sacramento, Detroit, Phoenix, Tampa Bay, whatever the case might be, how would you like to own the keys how would you like to hold the keys to your Detroit dream home in the next 60 days? That's a great way of hacking through. Again, it's a pattern interrupt. It gets them to stop what they're doing. They mentally check in a little bit differently because A, they want to buy a home. You gave them a sweet offer, but B, the location makes sense for them. They're thinking, well, I live in Detroit, or I'm looking to move to Detroit, or I'm looking to move to Tacoma, Washington. All those things are great little things to kind of pull your viewer in, pull the viewer in. Another thing you want to do is you want to shoot on location. And this is hard depending on where you live and the times of the year that you're in. I have one person in our program who's in Oklahoma. I don't know if he's on the call or not. Thomas is in Oklahoma, and he's a mortgage loan officer. He's a mortgage broker. And I said, Thomas, you've got to shoot this outside. Don't shoot this in your office. Go walk a neighborhood that looks like Oklahoma houses. And he goes, Nick, it's 80 mile an hour winds, and it's cold. So I get that. I understand that. Whenever possible, try to shoot outside. Try to shoot in the neighborhood that your ideal prospect or buyer is going to move into. So not the slums, but also not the multi-million-dollar homes. That's not realistic for people. It's you've got to find the ones that appeal to who you're going to be buying. If you sell on average, your average sale or home buyer is buying a $300,000 home, a $400,000 home, go walk those neighborhoods and shoot your video there with your cell phone. That's all you need to do. I just wanted to put that out. Location is another good visual hook for people. So after the first 5 seconds, when they can skip it, we've given them an offer. I like to reframe the offer. I like to restate it and say, okay, you want to own a home, you want the keys to your dream home, then Arizona residents who are doing this, and usually it's clicking on the button below or completing a survey, are qualifying to purchase the home of their dreams, and they're doing it within 60 days. I'm just essentially reframing the offer. I'm spending that first 30 seconds really driving home what it is that they want. They want the house. They want the keys. They see themselves living their best life possible. That's the picture I'm painting. We have plenty of time on a sales end to get through the nuances, to get through okay, you have to have this, and then this. So you have to really paint the picture. But one thing that's really important, and I want you not to forget this, is within that first 15 seconds, I want you to qualify people. I want you to qualify who it is that you're wanting to work with. So we'll call this 5 to 15 seconds is qualification. Now, here's how I do this, and here's how I typically work around this. I don't disqualify. I qualify. By qualifying, I'm automatically disqualifying. So here's what that looks like. This chance to own the home, this chance to own your dream home here in Arizona is perfect for, the chance to own your dream home is perfect for any Arizona resident who has a fair or better credit score, is tired of paying more than $1,500 a month in expensive rent, and maybe something else. 2 to 3 things max is what you want to do. I qualify people. I don't say, if you've got bad credit, click out of this now. I don't say, if you can't afford $2,000 a month, this isn't for you. I reverse it. I keep it positive in my script writing, and I say that's perfect for anybody who has a fair or better credit score. So if I don't want low credit leads coming through, if I want to mitigate that as much as possible, because people lie and people don't know, and they come through anyways. But if I want to mitigate that as much as possible, I want to qualify as soon as I can. Because what will happen is if someone does have a 300 credit score, they're gonna hear that and they're gonna be like, out. They're already disqualifying themselves. I want more of that, and I want it to happen within 30 seconds so that I don't pay for that. That's what I want to do. So 5 to 15 seconds, do a qualification. And I'm stating the offer again. Again, I'm saying, if this chance to own your dream home here in Arizona is perfect. So again, I'm restating the offer, and then I'm qualifying people with that offer. And I do that within the first 15 seconds. And that allows me to get people out of the ad who shouldn't be filling out forms, who shouldn't be coming through my pipeline. Now, I'm going to leave it completely subjective to you. Some people I talk to, they're like, dude, I'll take all the 400 credit scores. I'll put them on a plan. I work with credit repairs person. They give me whatever the case might be. It's totally subjective. What I want you to do is when you're writing your ad, make it in a way that is perfect for your type of customer, who it is that you like working with. And people will tell me, well, Nick, I only want to work with people who have 720 credit scores, have, assets to put down, who do blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, what world do you live in? That's not reality. It's just not real. That's not how it is. Very few people, people meet that criteria, but it's compared to who doesn't meet that criteria, it's an interesting concept. So don't paint it too high. Don't set the bar too high. Make it to where it's ideal for you. Make it to where you're going to get people actually coming through. Don't narrow the gate so much that nobody's going to walk through the door. But it's completely subjective on your part. The next thing I always like to do after I get beyond this, I've spent the good 15 to 20 seconds really building the offer, really qualifying people. Now is where I want to introduce my first call to action. So we'll do 15 to 25. And really the call to action is really kind of where I start to educate what people need to do. So again, think about it this way. You don't pay for the ad until someone watches 30 seconds or more, or until they click on it. So I don't really like to tell people to click on anything until I get at least past the 30-second mark. Because if I've got to pay for it, well then, I want to qualify a little bit more, and I want to build a little bit more interest before I start hitting them with "Can I take you home with me tonight?" type language. So, start to educate and start to wrap into how this offer works for people. Because if you do this right, you're going to spend the first 25 seconds making this sound like a pipe dream for people. And that's not what you want to do. You don't want to do that. You don't want to make it to where people don't believe it's realistic. So you have to educate people on how this works. YouTube is a learning platform. It's a learning and education platform and entertainment platform. People come here to learn things, to watch things, to consume content, to understand something. That's why searches like "how can I," "what does," "should I," "do I," etc. Those types of searches dominate YouTube. They also come here to be entertained. So your YouTube video should have some mixture of those things, or it should have leanings of those things, because that's how people's mindset works on the platform. So you have to educate people on how this works. Again, a big problem that mortgage brokers have is they overcomplicate the education aspect. So I want you to take 3 to 4, maybe 5 sentences and educate how this works. And only you can do that for your business. Some people like to go the route of, if they're brokers, they like to go the route of explaining how them as a broker can shop options. It's a good way to educate. You have to explain it to like you would a layperson. You would have to explain it like you would someone from the 1930s who has no concept of today's world. That's how you have to explain it, because that's how we also need things explained to us that are foreign to us. So you want to educate them on how this offer, whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's 60 days, whether it is something for VA or military, whether it's something for state employees, whether it's something for first-time home buyers. However it works, you need to educate people in a way that's very simple. And then you want to start to mix in a call to action. So right when you hit that 30-second mark of your video, you're already directing people of what comes next. There's going to be a banner. Your YouTube ad, if you're familiar with the YouTube ad and how it looks, your YouTube ad looks like this. There's you. You're happy. Look at you. And then while your video is playing, a button's going to appear. It's going to have a picture here, a headline here, and a link here. So they're going to see that banner. What you're going to do is you're going to educate them, and then you're going to tell them what you want them to do next. You're going to say, by clicking on the button directly below, and you're pointing down to the button, by clicking on the button directly below, you're going to complete it could be a quiz, it could be a survey, it could be an assessment, it could be whatever it is that makes sense for you. But this is where you're going to start to qualify people, and you start to tell them what happens. This isn't just a commercial where it's not interactive. It's an interactive commercial. They click on a button. It's different than what they see on TV. So there's a call after. Uh-oh. Can you guys hear me okay? hope you guys can hear me okay. I think my mic went out. Are we having some tech issues? Let me know if you guys can still hear me. Check, check, check. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm waiting for someone to tell me in the chat. Okay, great. I was getting scared. We're having some tech issues, guys, so bear with me. I can see a disclaimer come up that says it goes away, so I get nervous. All right. So, let's do this. Cool. So you need to educate them, and you need to start to draw them to your button down there. You need to start telling them that there's a next step. Educate them, direct them to what comes next. The other thing that you want to do in your education is you want to, and we'll call this the 30 to 45 second mark, is you need to introduce a testimonial, or proof is a better way of saying this. You want proof to showcase that this is actually true. This actually works. It worked for somebody. So a lot of times what people do is they'll have a picture with them and a client, or they'll have a picture of a client. It's not abnormal. If that's abnormal, do you get pictures of happy clients? But they'll show them, they'll say, like John in Oklahoma City. John completed our survey, our quiz, our Oklahoma City quiz, and he was able to qualify for a home, blah, blah, blah. He was able to move out of Broken Arrow and into Tulsa, whatever the case might be. And you showcase that this is actually true for people. This actually works. And that's going to be really, really key and really, really, really important. Now, you've given them a good offer. You've given them some education. You've given them a testimonial. Now you have to start to pitch them. You have to start to close them. You have to start to tell them what to do. And you have to make it so simple. These next steps are very, very important, because if you don't do these two things right, you're going to not see as many conversions. So you want to give people directions. You want to pitch them. You want to sell them. You want to say, okay, click on the button directly below, and then you want to tell them exactly what they're going to do next. So after the testimonial, we're going to say this is 45 seconds to, we'll call it a little over a minute plus. Right? Take 15, 20 seconds and start to pitch. This is where you can say, my name is Thomas with Fox Mortgage in Oklahoma City, and we've been helping local Oklahoma City residents buy their dream home, and with little to no money down, blah, 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 blah. And you're pitching them, you're selling them. You're sitting at the line at the grocery store, and when two people are behind you are talking about a mortgage and the problems they're having, it's you turning around and talking to them. That's exactly what you're doing. You're pitching your value. You're pitching your service. You're pitching what it is that makes you the best at what you do. That's important. It's one thing to say, you can buy a home, you can buy a home, you can buy a home, and blah, blah, blah. But if you don't introduce yourself as the person that's going to help them actually accomplish this, then you're going to suffer. Your sales are going to suffer. So pitch them on why you're the best at what you do. Pitch them on how you're going to make it easy. Pitch them on the fact that you do this all the time. Customers that work with us tell us that we specialize in blah, 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 blah. So it's important that you pitch and that you sell. Now, you don't want to be scammy. You don't want to be slimy. You just want to introduce your value proposition, whatever it is that is. So give them a good pitch, and then I say from a minute to a minute 30, a minute 45. Some of your videos might go to my videos on these go to about 2 minutes, just FYI. But I'm giving them instructions. This is what you need to do. You need to do this. Click on the button directly below. Complete the answers to the Arizona home buyer survey. See if you qualify. And when you do, you're going to have the opportunity to speak to somebody live about the next steps on getting the home of your dreams, right? Let them know what happens next. One thing that always frustrates me is it frustrates me about people sometimes when I do audits of people's campaigns is I look at their ad and they get mad that they can't get a hold of people. If you've worked online leads before, you know how much of a pain it is to get a hold of people. It's weird. People will fill out forms, you'll never be able to get them. You can call them every single day until Jesus returns, and you'll never be able to get them on the phone. It's weird. They were there for the ad, they were there to fill out the form, but you can't get a hold of them to save your life. Now, One way to curb some of that is to tell them in the ad that you're going to talk to somebody. You're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. Frame it that way. Let them know. If you just sit there and say, get a house, win an iPad, fill this out. And that's what people think. So you have to introduce the fact in your script that there is a sales conversation that needs to be had. There's a relationship conversation that needs to be had. We want to assess this for you and put you in the right position. We want to get you the keys to your dream house, the house that's made just for you and your family. Right? You want to talk that language. You want to tell them what is going to happen next. So you were going to give them a CTA, a call to action. Click down below, and you're going to repeat this call to action numerous times. You have to think of yourself almost like a carnival barker. Step right up, win this prize, step right up. You have to think about it like that, because people have to hear the call to action numerous times before it finally clicks in their head. Oh, I better click on this button. I better do this. So make sure that you are giving a very easy pitch that is reflective of your offer. So don't do this. Buy a home in 60 days, and then your pitch is, we help veterans. I'm sure you do, but that's not anything you talked about. So don't make it confusing. Make it all congruent. Everything needs to be singular. Everything needs to be streamlined. Everything needs to work together. If you sit there and talk about getting someone a dream home, don't talk about anything other than getting them a dream home. That's it. Talk about how you get people dream homes. Talk about how people, when they work with you, they get more home than they thought of, that they thought that they could afford, or that they deserved, or that they earned, or whatever the case might be. Talk about those things. Don't make it confusing. Don't use multiple offers and multiple talking points. Stick with, I know this is hard. It's hard for me. Stick with one thing. One simple thing. And make your call to action repetitive. Make it simple. Make it easy. Click on the button directly below. Down below this video is a button for you to click on. I want you to click on that button right now. And when you click on that button, you're going to complete the Tennessee Homebuyer Survey. And when you complete that survey, you're going to see instantly what you qualify for when it comes to, getting your home. Or you're going to see if you qualify on getting that home that you always wanted within the next 60 days. I repeated the call to action numerous times, and I made everything start to finish about the one thing, getting the home that they want. That's what you need to do. That's how you need to frame your video. Give them very simple call to actions. I'm going to go back to the questions here. I want to make sure, does everybody understand this? Let me just go back here. All right, let me stop sharing. Does everybody, does this make sense to everybody? Let me know if this is hitting a nerve, if this is something. If the call to action is to call and not go to a website, how should that look? Stephen, great question. Here's what I do when I'm not doing surveys. If I'm taking them straight to a landing page, then what I do is I use websites. I use Convertri for this. It's like a landing page software, and Convertri has the ability for me to put text in there, and they could just click the call. So I'm not a huge fan of this. Mainly because, well, let me tell you why I'm not, but let me tell you where the a good application of it is. I still would do a survey. I still would do people answering questions. Number one, it gets them to buy in. But two, I want to use a survey, and I'm going to show you my survey here during this call. I might want to kick them out. Can you guys hear me okay? Check one, check two. Are we there? Check, check, check. Check, test, test, test. Let me know, did it come back in? Sorry, guys. I'm ordering new stuff here today. Sorry about that. Okay. So I think I went out when I was talking about the survey. So I want to have them answer particular questions because if they self-indicate that they have poor credit, I might want to kick them out. I might not want them to go through. I don't want them calling, definitely don't want them calling. If you've got 3 repossessions and 2 foreclosures in the last 3 years, I don't want you calling. You might be a fan of that, but most people aren't. So I like the survey first because it at least gives me a gate to where I can segment people out, and that's kind of what I want. The other thing is that if they qualify, then I can take them to a thank you page, and I'll show you an example of this, and that'll be the third part we do. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to actually build the ad. But on the third part, I'm actually going to show you kind of landing pages and all that good stuff. And what you can do if they make it all the way through, they've qualified themselves, meaning they've got good credit, they've got good income, they've got all those things. I ask a question on my survey if they have the funds needed for a down payment. If they say yes, or they say no, I kick them out. So if they get all the way through and they, keep in mind some of them might lie. You do that. Can you use Wufoo to segment? I think you can. I haven't used Wufoo in years, so I don't know what it's like nowadays. When I use the Survey Gizmo, and just FYI, nothing that I recommend here today. There's no affiliate links. I don't get paid for recommending anything. So, but I use Survey Gizmo, and that's what I use. Now, but what you can do on the thank you page, Stephen, is you can make it to where they click on it after they've gotten that far, and it can call you. So you can do that, and that's actually can be really powerful. But if it's just an add to a call, that is you're going to set yourself up for some. Number one, you're not going to get a lot of volume from that because people are. You're just not going to get a lot of volume from that. It's almost like confrontational for people. Like they want the anonymity of the survey first. So I would do the survey, and if they make the survey, they can either schedule an appointment or they can call directly. And the program that I use for that is Convertry because it has that feature. Sounds like a default computer mic. It probably is my Fox Mortgage, Thomas. I think my interface is going out, so forgive me. I'm an insurance agent. I'd like to run ads for mortgage leads, but I'm obviously not a mortgage lender. Do I need to use different verbiage? No. Either you should probably have your mortgage lender shoot the ad. I usually ask, do you have money saved for a 3% down payment? Yes or no. So Trevor, that's a great way of doing it. I like to make it even more simple, and I just tell them, do they have money for a down payment? Or how do they plan on doing their down payment? And questions in the answers are they selling a home? Yes or no? Is it being gifted to them? Or they just have the savings? Or they indicate that they don't have a down payment. Well, then I kick them out. Let's see if there's any other questions. Cynthia, I did repeat about the survey, I hope. Chris says I look like a Peanuts cartoon character. Right on. All right. So that being said, let's actually build an ad. Does anybody have any questions before we do that about the script, about what to say, what not to say? Any questions whatsoever on that? All right, I'm going to move on here. I know there's a little bit of delay, so I'm going to move on here in just a second. I want to make sure everybody has a chance if they have questions about the script. What's up, Troy? All right. Let me share my screen, and we're going to get right into ad creation. Let's pull this up. Share, share, share. All right. So when you're in Google Ads, and if you haven't yet, I mean, if this is confusing to you, one thing I would encourage you to do is on my YouTube channel, I actually have a whole series on how to set all your stuff up. Go ahead and watch that content. You can always come, you have this as a reference, but also I have videos on exactly how to set things up and get to this point. This is a Google ad account. This is one of the accounts that I manage. And we're going to create a mortgage ad. So first thing I do is I go to campaigns. And I'm going to create a new campaign by clicking on this button. Go to new campaign. It brings us to this screen. And this screen is Google's objectives on an ad. Do you want sales? Do you want leads, website traffic, product brand consideration, brand awareness and reach, or app promotion? One thing that I typically go with that is sometimes hit or miss, but it's more hit than miss, is I go with leads. And people say, well, Nick, I want sales. I'm going to just optimize for sales. You don't want to do sales because you're not selling you're selling basically a service still. It's not, you're not selling the actual home, and there's so many variables in this. This would be perfect for people who sell shoes or sports coats online, not for people who sell mortgages. So I go with leads. And essentially what this is, just to kind of reiterate more on this, is you have sales and leads and website traffic, which is more relying on the Google algorithm to try to find people based on what's actually converting. So if you don't have any data, you've never run an ad in your ad account yet, you could still do leads and you might be okay, but you should probably do more like product branding consideration. And I'll actually show you both. Now, before I even get to this spot, one thing you're also going to do, and we'll come back to it, this is like chopping the garlic that we're going to set aside first. I want you to go to tools and settings, and I want you to go to conversions. And you're going to create a conversion, meaning this is going to be something that we're telling Google that this is what's working. And we're just going to create a new conversion here, and I'm going to click on website. Now, it asks me these questions, and this can look very confusing. So again, let me talk about what a conversion is. Conversions are pieces of code that you're going to put on your landing page or your survey. And if you're familiar with Facebook, think about it like your Facebook pixel or whatever. Like this is code, or this is the signal that's telling Google this is happening. Hey, this is happening. We have this result right here, and this is great. It sends a signal back to Google on results. Now, I always like to create at least 2 different conversions, one for the front page of my website and one for the thank you page. I like to segment my audiences. So we're going to create both of them now, and we're going to create the first one here. So we have a category. Is this a purchase? Is this a lead, a page view, a sign up, or another? Again, this is going to go on my actual survey. This is not a lead. These are people who just click on the ad. So I'm going to signify that this is a page view. And we're going to give it a name. Oh. Mortgage page views, and we're not going to give it a value. It says it's not recommended, but I'm not going to give it a value. Again, I would give it a value if it had like a fixed price to it. This is great to track your ROI. Again, you're not going to have that with the mortgage. So I would just say we're not going to use a value. I'm okay counting every one of these, and I'm just going to leave the rest of this the same. The only thing I'm going to change is I'm not going to include these in my final numbers. And I'm going to try to make this as simple as I can. And better yet, it might just be helpful if I actually draw this out so you guys understand. So our funnel is going to look like this. There's the ad again. There's you, happy you, talking about the homes for sale. There's a little chimney. And there's a little sun right here. That's you. You're talking about the ad. They're going to click this button right here, and that's going to direct them to a landing page. And the landing page that is typically best that I recommend is a survey. The survey has a question on it. It has a headline, question, blah, blah, blah. That's your survey. And then once they complete the survey, it goes to a thank you page. And the thank you page has your calendar on it, for them to book a call or book an appointment. Headline, it can even have a video on there. But that's essentially the steps. Now, we want to create in Google what are called conversion tags. Conversion tags we're going to put on each of these 2 pages so that we can tell Google what is happening. So we're going to put a conversion tag here, and we're going to put a separate one here. Okay. Now, that's what I was making here. We're making one that's just this page, and I'm calling it just page views. And I don't want to count these as conversions, meaning I don't want Google to think that this is the result I'm looking for. Can anybody tell me why they don't think this is the result we're looking for? Can anybody take a guess in the comments? I'm just curious. Trevor, yes. Landon, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to show surveys next. I just want to get those concepts first. Can anybody tell me why I wouldn't want to put, I don't want to include just these clicks on the landing page as conversions? I might not have to ask these questions because there's too long of a delay. They haven't completed it. That is the right answer. It's not a qualified lead yet. Google is like Facebook and learns what you want. Yes, you guys are smart. You guys are smart. This is fantastic. Okay, so going back to here, let's go back to our conversions. So I'm not including these folks. I'm going to leave the rest alone. Create and continue. Now, I'll get to this part again. I'll come back to this. Remember what the screen looks like because I'm going to come back to it on the landing page. But just to show you what it looks like, it has this code. You guys are familiar with Facebook's Pixel? This would be the equivalent. This is the goal. This is the jewel right here. This piece of code right here. This is the sweet spot. This is your global site tag. It's not as sexy sounding as Facebook Pixel, but it's the same thing. This is the code that you put on your page that allows you to create audiences, that allows you to signify back to Google or signal back to Google that it was hit, like it was triggered. This is the tripwire. That's it right there, this code. And it's the same for your entire account. So that's great. Event snippet is we're telling Google the event that happened. And you can see it even has my name here, mortgage page views. So this is your event snippet. Now I'm done, but we're going to come back to it. I'm going to create a second one. Website. And instead of calling it a page view, now we're calling this one a lead because it's going to go on this page right here, the thank you page. So now these are actual leads, people that answer the questions, did not get kicked out. We're not going to use a value. We are only going to count one of these. And it's defaulted to include in conversions. Yes, I'm going to leave that alone. Include in conversions. Bada bing, bada boom. Create and continue. And it's the same thing. Same global site tag, different event snippet. This is what we want. We want this to be triggered. When this code is triggered, and it gets triggered when someone gets to the website, the thank you page, it sends a signal back to your Google ad account that there's one. It counts it. It counts it as one. So this would be a one, like a lead. This would get counted in the count. And that's what you want. So we have our conversions set up. Now let's go back to, we chopped the garlic, we set it aside, and now we're going to go back to actually creating the campaign. Let's do this. Sorry. Campaigns, add new campaign. All right, I'm going to go with leads. Brings me back to the campaign type, what I want. Now Google, has a lot of different ways you can run ads. You can run search ads on google.com, display ads, which is kind of like a banner ad or, like an image ad somewhere. Shopping, if you were selling products to a store, or video. This is YouTube. So if I select YouTube, it automatically knows, if I select video, it automatically knows it's YouTube. We hit continue. You're going to name it whatever you want to name it. And you have two bidding strategies. Now, Google, if you didn't know, works like an auction. And I'm going to stop sharing here because I want to also monitor the comments. Google works like an auction. And you have to bid on traffic. You have to bid on getting your ad out there. That's what you need to do. So you have two different bidding strategies. You can set a daily budget and say, hey, Google, I'm willing to spend $10 a day. I want $10 a day, $20 a day. And I want you to just get as many leads as you possibly can. Use the maximize conversions on that bidding strategy. Like a shotgun, take my $10 or $20, put it in a shotgun shell, package it together, put it in the gun, and shoot it. and get as many as you can. It's like a pellet gun. It's like a shotgun that has all the pellets in it. That's what you're doing. And Google's trying to learn who's going to actually convert, who's actually working. It's going to rely on its algorithm, and it's going to look at behaviors of people and see, okay, these types of people are clicking through, these types of people are converting these, and it's going to learn. And it's using the algorithm. And that's what you're going to do. The other type of bidding strategy is target CPA. I'm going to go back to sharing here. I just wanted to see you guys, see if there's any more questions. There were, but I'm going to come back to them. We have maximize conversions. We also have target CPA, and this is where you're bidding on an action. Now, what I recommend is that you don't start here. Do not start here because you don't have the data. It's not going to work very well for you. I like to start off with maximize conversions when I'm doing new campaigns that with new baby accounts and new baby ads that haven't learned anything yet. Maximize conversions, just blast it out there and let's get rocking and rolling. Set my daily budget, go $15. Networks. I'm going to specify that I only want YouTube videos. I don't want partners on the display network. This would be like, you ever go to a website on your cell phone and there's like videos that just pop up and start playing and it really pisses you off? That's this. Don't do that. So I do only YouTube videos. I only want my videos to show on the YouTube platform. Languages, I specify what languages I want. So I'm going to say this was done in English. And locations. I'm going to, I can do my zip code. It's my zip code. And you can do by state, you can do by city, you can do by TV market. We work with a client now who's an insurance agent, and he's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We started running his ads to the Dallas Metroplex TV market because there's all kinds of suburbs and all kinds of things outside of Dallas. If you're in a metropolitan city, that makes a lot of sense. If you are in a bedroom community, I would do your zip code, I would do your city, and I would just go that route. So you can add as many zip codes as you want. You can also do, city name. You can even get a little bit more ninja with it, and you can say, you know what, let's do a radius of, I don't know, I'm just gonna 1, 2. Yeah, we're gonna assume that that's it. And you can do just that, and you can go by mile radius. You can do all kinds of things. So that's how detailed the targeting get. You can get down here and do a radius of a certain location. You can go down to 1 mile. So this is great too for if you are, and this used to be, if you remember, this was really popular on Facebook until Facebook got in trouble for it. But Google allows you to do it still. Is if you want to target areas or even exclude areas that you don't want your ads to show in. And it could be for a number of reasons. Now, I am not telling anybody to do anything that's not legal. Do not misunderstand anything I'm about to tell you. But let's say you want to target a certain zip code or a certain neighborhood, because that's where your best customers come from. You can do that. You just plug in the address and do a mile radius. You could do that. I'm not a fan of it because you don't get a lot of volume. I mean, how many people live in that neighborhood? Not very many. So you might, maybe there's 500 people there. So I don't recommend that. You can also exclude certain areas, and that's, you can do, what I'm saying is Google gives you the ability to do it. I'm not telling you you should or you shouldn't. Just crossing T's and dotting I's here. You guys understand me. Don't do anything that is a violation of HUD. Don't do anything that's a violation of anything. But Google gives you the ability to do these things. We got our disclaimers out there? Great. Cool. So you can do your locations that way. Inventory type, I leave alone. Excluded content, I leave alone. But I do come down here to excluded types and labels, and I do exclude these two things. I don't want ads showing up on embedded videos on someone's website. I don't want them showing up on live streaming videos. That's a great way to just not make people like you. So don't do that. One thing here, if you watch, and again, I encourage everybody to go through my 3-part beginner series on YouTube ads. It's on my channel. I'll watch that content. It will help you out. And I talk a lot about this. Additional settings here they have kind of hidden. It's just a link, but it's probably one of the most important aspects of your ad. I'm going to click on it here and give me 4 options. Now, we don't need to worry about the optimization because we've already set our conversions. Remember, we chopped the garlic. That's good. But I do have the ability to select the devices that I want to use or not use. Now, I always exclude TV screens. If you're just running a branding campaign, which you should be, That makes a lot of sense. Where there isn't really a call to action. It's just to get people aware of who you are, your brand. That's fine. But for people where I'm trying to get people to take action, I typically exclude TV screens. I also typically exclude tablets, and I'll give you a reason why. It's possible, it's very likely, it's very common that parents give their kids tablets, as well as cell phones, but tablets are a very popular choice to give young kids. I don't want Google targeting the mom while the kid has the tablet watching Ryan's Toys, which is one of the largest toy YouTube channels there is. So I typically don't do tablets. I typically only do computers and mobile phones. And there are some areas where mobile phones kills it. Like I end up turning off computers. There are some areas where it's vice versa. So I usually let the data tell me what's working, what's not working. But this is where I make that happen. You can also, if you wanted to, if this gives you creativity, you can also target certain operating systems or certain device models. So if you only want to target iOS or Android, you can do that too. If you only want to do a certain network, you can do that. It's pretty crazy. But here's really the most important aspect. This little jewel right here called frequency capping. Right now it's set to none. Now remember, you are not charged on a YouTube ad until someone watches 30 seconds or more of your video. You're not charged. If someone skips the video, you don't pay for it. It's great. So I'm not going to cap the impressions. I'm not going to cap how many times YouTube shows the video. However, I will cap the views. I will cap this. And I usually do a pretty low number. So I'll put a cap on 2 times per month, 2 or 3 times max. And here's why. Especially with this type of bidding that we're doing. Remember, we're doing maximize conversions with the leads. That's using the algorithm. You ever seen the Netflix show? It was popular last year, Bird Box. Here's how you equate it. These things come from space or hell or wherever they come from, and you don't know what they are. But if you see them, you die essentially, and you have to do that. And so the monsters or aliens or demons or whatever they are constantly searching for new people. Right? They're having to scour the land and find people that they can, whatever they're going to do. That's the same thing with Google Ads. It's a weird analogy, but I'm going to give somebody 2 opportunities to see my ad in a month. And I'm going to give them 1 allowance. Maybe they were drunk. Maybe they were asleep at the wheel. Maybe they got distracted. And they saw my ad for 30 seconds or more, and they didn't do anything with it. They didn't go to the website or whatever. Or they didn't complete the action. I'll give them 1 more chance in a month. After that, I don't want to spend any more money on them. I want Google to go find somebody else. So this will cut down on the amount of impressions you inevitably get, because if you have 10,000 impressions, people who viewed it, or 10,000 views, multiple times, they're not going to get shown the ad again until the next month. That's fine. I don't want to keep wasting money on the same people. I don't want to keep showing the ad to the same people. I want Google to go find new people. So I cap my views. This saves me money. And it also gets me into newer audiences. Ad schedule. Sometimes I advocate for doing an ad schedule, meaning you should only show your ad between the hours of 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, or whatever the case might be. I'm not a huge fan of this. And the reason is because we get a lot of leads on the weekends. We get a lot of leads at 7 o'clock at night when people are off work and they're vegging out on their phone. Get a lot of leads then. And I don't want to cut those people out, because those people could be really good customers. And hopefully you have systems and processes in place that follow up with people, that email them, that text them. You have systems in place to handle that stuff. So I sometimes am an advocate of this. I don't really do this a whole lot, but sometimes I do. Give my ad group a name. Now here's where we get to the targeting. Here's where everybody falls apart. And I'm going to go back to the questions. So I'm going to see if we have any questions before I continue on. But everybody thinks that this is the ad. No, it's not the ad. The ad is your script. The targeting, it's important. It's really important, but it's not the most important thing. Don't focus on that. We're going to have to set good targeting, but you can have the best targeting in the world. If your offer and script is garbage, it doesn't matter who you're talking. You can talk to the most wealthy, most likely to move people on the planet, But if all they understood, all they heard was, you know, a foreign language, ancient Aramaic to them, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So before we get into the targeting, I just want to see if we have any questions. Let me go here. If you run multiple ads to different landing pages, you're testing which you want different event tags. Okay, so Landon, let's answer your questions here. If you run multiple ads to landing pages you're testing, would you want different event tags? Yes. Short answer. Set different tags. You want a different tag for each page, each different ad. What's a good starting daily spend to gather data? Greg, that's a great question. I would say it's a little bit subjective. And I can tell you what I sometimes run at. My philosophy is I want to collect data as fast as possible. So I'm going to do $20 to $50 to $100 a day. And I might only run that for like 2 or 3 days. But I want the ad to get out. I want my ad to be distributed. And we're going to talk about pruning and taking stuff down. But I'm going to have a heavier ad spend because I want to collect the data. If I'm only spending $5 a day to start, it's going to take me a long time to get the data that I need. So 20, 30, 40, 50, there's no right or wrong answer. I just like to spend more so that I can get the data that I need, and then I'll tune into what I want to spend. Do you test different target CPA bids? Yes, I do, Landon, but only when I have enough data to go to that level. So we can avoid or exclude areas with low loan amounts? Yes. How much do you actually test things like radius, or do you cast a broader net at first and narrow down based on the data? I cast a wider net. I run a lot of stuff just for this. A lot of people that I work with on the mortgage side, they'll tell me, yeah, I'd love to get leads in Sacramento, but you give me somebody in Los Angeles, I'll call them. So it's dependent on you and where do you want to work. Do you set conversion tag for a booked appointment if the calendar is on a thank you page? Yes. Yes. Guys, these are great questions. Fantastic questions. All right, I'm going to give this another 5 seconds or so before I go back into the targeting. I just want to make sure we just go up a little bit more, see if I didn't miss anything. All right, I'm looking away. We're going to go back to sharing. All right. Up. Is there a scaling protocol for raising or lowering your bids on Facebook? Yes. I'll answer that. Here's the first thing I'll say. You don't want to break it. Facebook, if you're familiar with like Facebook ads, scaling can be tricky. You can actually break your ad. The same thing can happen a lot of times I've seen on Google Ads. Number one, don't ever bid something that you're not willing to pay. I work with people on our program for the last 18 months, and they'll say, Nick, I bumped up my ad spend to $200 a day, and it spent their money, and I only got like 7 leads. And I think to myself, and I say to them, well, why did you bid $200 if you weren't comfortable spending $200? Don't spend money don't bid with money you're not comfortable. This isn't Monopoly. Don't do that. When it comes to scaling the budget, I typically will only raise it 10 to 20% a day. And sometimes I'll even let it go for like 1 or 2 days. I'll let it kind of learn a little bit, and then I'll bump it up. I don't want to go from 50 to 100. I don't want to go from 100 to 200. I might go from 50 to 60, 50 to 70, but then I'll let that kind of learn a little bit and kind of get comfortable. Think about it. You're kind of massaging this a little bit, and then I get to where I want to go. Hopefully, results scale with that. I hope that answers your question. Don't just do it all at once. Go slow. Massage your increases. And same thing goes for backing it down. I'd say don't go from 200 down to 10. Number one, it goes back to don't bid with money you're not comfortable spending. So if you're not comfortable spending $200, never bid that. If you're not comfortable spending $50, never bid that. Hope that helps. Okay, let me go back to sharing here, and we'll get into the targeting. All right, so on targeting, I like to do a combination of targeting when I do residential home buyers. I actually made a video on this on my channel. Again, you're going to hear me hype content on my channel a lot because I do talk about these things. When it comes to targeting, Here's a mistake that people make. They'll do all of this. You've got 5 dishes here, and they'll stack their plate like it's Thanksgiving dinner with all of these things, and they become so refined from the get-go that Google just says, you know what? We don't know what to do. So we're not going to do anything. Google is the ultimate deer in a headlight. When you're driving down the road and a deer's in the road and it sees your headlights, it just freezes. That's Google. It will freak out. It will do nothing. You'll get nowhere. You'll have a dead deer on the road. So don't do that. But one thing I always start off with is demographics. And here are the demographics options that Google gives us. And it knows this information largely from when people are logged into Google, and it knows who they are because when they created their account, Gmail or Google or whatever, they specified male or female. They specified their date of birth. They specified some things. So it knows largely if you're male or female. You'll see like unknown here for gender. That's not Google trying to be politically correct. That is when you see those stats on your metrics, that's because Google doesn't know who you are because you're not logged in, likely. It's from an incognito account. It's from someone not logged into a Google account. So that's where that means. Parental status and household income, these are Google's best guesses. They think this stuff is what it is, but it's only a guess. And I've got no definitive word from Google, but this has only been my test. And what I see on results, and it makes sense to me. Parental status is not, are they parents? It's, are there parents in the home? It's, are there kids around? They could be parents, but they could also be grandparents. So there's nobody in the house, or empty nesters. I don't have a definitive word on that, but in everything that I've ever run for Medicare, for final expense life insurance, all those things, it always tends to be that nobody knows age ranges or parents. That's all I can think of. Household income, again, best guess. Google, to our knowledge, doesn't know what our AGI on our tax return is, to the best of our knowledge. They have a really good idea if you're affluent or if you're not. And the reason they probably know that is based on what you're searching for. What are you looking for on Google? What are you looking at? What are you reading? What do you subscribe to? What's in your Gmail? Who are you getting emails from? What content are you watching on YouTube? It knows if you've got money. At least it thinks it knows, and it knows if you don't. So this is a guess. It's not reliable, but it's pretty darn good. And you'll see on loans that most of your leads will come in the lower 50%. You'll get some of these, but typically, like if you're running, and think about it, like if you're attracting first-time home buyers, they're probably, if they are first-time home buyers, they're probably not in the top 10%. If they are in the top 10%, they probably already own homes. If you just think about that concept. So you're going to see a lot of your leads come here. And that's not a dig and saying, well, these are bad customers. That just happens to be people who are looking for houses. So you'll see a good mix here and there. I like to leave these things, unless I really know what I don't want, I like to leave this alone. I do know that most 18 to 24-year-olds are not my target audience. I also know that most 25 to 34 usually are not my target audience. But sometimes I'll leave it there for most cases if I want to test it. I typically know 65 plus, they're probably not buying. If they haven't bought a home at 65 years old, they're probably never going to buy a home. So I usually just go with these age ranges, and I leave the rest alone. Now, when we look about audiences, we have the ability to target people who are in market, meaning Google has created a template for people who are based in this box, who are segmented based on what they're doing online. They're in the market for these things, and you can also create custom lists for targeting, all those things. I'm going to make this really simple for you. I'm going to make it really simple for you. And guys, I'm gonna give you the secret sauce, but if you're not subscribed to the channel, you guys owe me a subscription on this one. So one thing I do is I target residential properties for sale. Now, this works the best. It works really well. The only one I choose. It works really great. I've tested all of these. You're gonna see all these. Look at all these options. Mortgage refinancing, home equity loans, home purchase loans, personal loans, credit and lending. You have a lot of different options when it comes to this stuff. Some of those are my custom audiences. I'll do people who go like this. They'll go do 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 do, and they'll spend their money on all these things. And Google tries to spend money on all of this. You can. I'm not going to tell you you can't. I'm just going to tell you, if you want to save yourself some time and money, Pick that. That's what you want to start. To start. Keywords, I don't mess with keywords. Sometimes I do, but I'd say 9 out of 10 ads are like this. Topics. I have content on all this stuff, guys. I'll tell you exactly what all this stuff means. Go and watch that content, please. Make Google like me more. Make YouTube like me. All right, so that's what I do. And then here, down below is where I put my video, and we're going to create the ad. Let me stop sharing here. I'm going to go back to the questions and make sure nobody has any content. While you're doing that, I'm going to pull up just a video. Let's see. If you got questions, let me know. Can we use the same video on Facebook ads? Sure. Sure. Can you guys see my screen? Cynthia says it's blurry. Zoom. I can't do anything about it. All right, so let me pull up just a video. Bear with me, guys. Trying to grab a video. Come on. All right. Great, we're back. All right, so Thomas says it's not blurry for him. I'm not sure. All right, let's get back into, I grabbed a video, and I have also a survey. We'll get into the survey next, but I at least want to show you how to build this part. Now, I just grabbed a random video, so this is not my video, but it'll at least give you the idea. So we're down here at the very bottom. We're actually going to, you've created a video using the script that you wrote, and it's just going to be this video. And I'm going to make this a skippable, it's defaulted to a skippable in-stream ad. So these are the videos that run before the videos that you click to watch. This is what plays. And here we're going to have a final URL, a display URL, a call to action, and a headline. So let me just grab a survey. Now it automatically defaults. Let me do this. So I put the survey in here, and it automatically populates a display URL. I just take out everything after the .com. Do not. In fact, I'm going to stop sharing this so that you can see me. Do not do bit.lys. Do not do short links. Do not do redirects. Do not do anything like that. If you think Facebook is bad about shutting down an ad account, try messing with Google. Google will ban you, and there is no coming back. Do not do anything stupid by trying to fool Google. What works on Facebook does not work on Google. Does not work on Google. You cannot fool them. And if you think you can, they're going to get mad and pissed that you're trying to mess with their system, and they're going to ban you. Don't do anything other than the actual URL. Don't do a URL that they click on it and redirects to a different URL. Don't do that. You will get banned. They will cast you out and stone you, and you will die, and there's no coming back from it. So I just wanted to make that very clear. It's a very important disclaimer. All right, let's go back to share. Here on my display URL, I just take out everything after the .com. And my call to action is this button right here. I like to be very direct. Buy a home. And headline, it could be Phoenix home fire. Something like that. Or it could be Phoenix dream home. something that, again, ties into my offer. Dylan, I think I saw a question that you had. You wanted to know if what you use on Facebook with Survey Gizmo can work on YouTube. I'd have to see your Facebook survey, to be honest with you. I see a lot of Facebook surveys that people run for Facebook ads that I go, that's no way that's going to work on YouTube, because they'll do just like a picture, no text. You'll see mine. I'll show you mine, and that's they're a little bit different. They're a little bit more meaty. I think it works best. And you can preview your ad here. Now, right here in this section here, you can elect to put a little banner right here that even if they skip the video, that stays there. It only shows on desktop. You want to make it 300 by 60 pixels. So if you have Canva or Photoshop or anything like that, you can design a little banner right here, and that will stay there. Even when they skip it, it's just another little banner ad for them. But that is it. I would hit create campaign, and my campaign is launched. That is creating a mortgage ad on YouTube. The targeting, the setup, the demographics, all that good stuff. Are there any questions on this? Because next we're going to get into the actual survey. Should we avoid the word buy? Star, that's a good question. Yes, you're probably right. I avoid it in the script. I should probably avoid it in the call to action. You could say own home, get home. Good call out. Any other questions on the targeting? I'm gonna give this a second here. Again, we're gonna look at the survey next, but I want to make sure whether it was script or targeting that there was a lot that I didn't talk about here, like how to set up your ad accounts and all that stuff. Again, I have content on my channel that addresses all that. Subscribe and watch. Do me a favor. Anything at all? Thanks, man. All right. I don't know if there's any questions. Appreciate you guys' encouragement. Thank you. We're going to get into the actual survey now. And let me preface, I use Survey Gizmo. Again, Survey Gizmo doesn't even have an affiliate program that I know of. So it is the most expensive. And I realize that, but it also converts so well. It just converts so good. I haven't found anything in years of doing this that converts better than Survey Gizmo. So yeah, I think it's going to cost you like $1,000 a year, a little over $1,000, maybe like $1,100. I think they raised the prices in the last couple of years. So that's what I use. So let's go to the share screen. Let me go to build here. Let me get this to the right screen first. One of these days, guys, I'm gonna do this in a studio where somebody's actually like controlling things for me, and I could just go. Those are my dreams. Thank you guys for being patient. Okay, here's my survey. This is a survey that I designed. By I designed, I mean I made this header. It's not even that great of a header now. I've used this for years. I created these houses in the background. It looks like The Simpsons. It's just easy. Now, my survey reflects my offer. Arizona 60-day dream home quiz. 60-day. This is my offer. It doesn't have to be your offer. It's my offer. My patent. This is the Nick Ayers offer. But this is what it is. And this is attracting first-time home buyers. You can run this, a variation of this for VA, for conventional. I'm keeping it simple for you guys. See instant results upon completion. You'll see what that means. So are you currently owning or renting your home? You'll notice I only ask one question at a time, and I always put at the very top, I put the answer that I want them, that I think is most likely for them to have, or that I desire for them to have. And I try to ask questions. You think about this like this is a momentum, this is a snowball. I want momentum to pick up. I want momentum to pick up, and I want it to gain traction. So if I ask questions right at the beginning, like how much money do you have? That's the equivalent of going into a bar, finding the first pretty girl you see and asking to sleep with her. It's a problem. Don't do that. Ask easy questions. Court your prospect. Don't go for the jugular. Don't be some needy, horny teenager. Just court them. Are you currently owning or renting? I rent. And one thing I like about Survey Gizmos, when I click on this, it goes automatically. How soon are you looking to purchase? 1 to 2 months. Hopefully it's 1 to 2 months. I'm telling you, this is 60 days. Are you currently working with a lender who's recently pre-approved you? No. Again, there's no thought to these questions. I know the answers right when I see them. Are you working with a realtor that's showing your houses? No. Now, if you're a mortgage loan officer, this is great. Hopefully you see this and you think, opportunity, because I'm going to get all these leads and none of them are telling me that they work with a real estate agent. What do I need to do? I need to go recruit real estate agents, and I need to build a team of real estate agents. And part of working on my team, Mr. or Mrs. Real Estate Agent, is I need all the rest of your referral business. We're going to work together on this. We are a team. So, food for thought. Are you currently employed? Now, yes, no, or I own a business. Again, I want them to say yes. It's not set up on this page because this is a dummy page. This doesn't go anywhere. But if they say no, I might kick them out. I might set up a condition called conditional logic in the survey that says, thanks for playing. You're not employed. You don't, dude. And maybe they qualify for some other reason. I don't know, but again, purely subjective on your part. What is your budget for a monthly mortgage payment? Keep it simple. I'm confident that my credit score is. Now, I've seen a lot of people who do surveys and they'll do like numbers. They'll say 580 to 620, 620 to 680. Dude, if I asked you right now what your credit score is, half of you would say, I don't know, like 600, I don't know. You don't know like what the now some of you mortgage lenders might, but customers don't know. And it's confusing. But you know what they do know? They know if they've got good credit. They know they've got great credit, at least in their mind. They know if they've got bad credit. This is one of the things, again, if they answer this way, I might kick them out. I make it easy for people. We struggle so much in the financial services sector. We make it complicated with the words that we say. And we think everybody thinks and talks like us. Consumers don't. That's why they need wise advice and guidance from you. That's why they need it, because they don't know. So don't give them the confusing questions and confusing terminology. I've got average credit. And this goes back to, I forget who I mentioned this in the thing with. How will you come up with the needs, the funds needed for a down payment? I'm selling my current home. I have savings. It's been gifted to me. I don't have any funds for a down payment. This was a result. I implemented this probably 6 months ago. This was feedback I got from loan officers. They'd say, man, I'm getting a lot of people. They just don't have any money. I don't have any money for a down payment. I can't work with them. So I thought, okay, we need to qualify these people better. And so I started putting this question in there, and we would get a fair amount of people who self-identified as not having any money. And we kick them out. And I saved my loan officers and our students saved their time by not getting those people. And it's helpful. And then also I want people to know, hey, you're gonna have to have some skin in the game here. And I only know this, I'm not a loan officer, but I get this feedback from loan officers. The amount of conversations they have with people, and a lot of it's due to advertising, where people just think they could just walk in and get a key to a house and call it good. Like there's nothing they need to do. No, buddy, there's a down payment. I need you to understand that. This gives them an opportunity to skip out. But they have to know that there's there's money involved here. Anyways, that's my rant. I'm selling my current home. This is, again, going back to, are they working with a real estate agent? I'm selling my current home. Oh, great. You're not working with a real estate agent and you're a current homeowner? That's a perfect opportunity for a listing lead for your real estate agent. You want what do all real estate agents want? What does everybody want? Listing leads. That's what they want. Well, you're going to have a way of collecting that data. I'm selling my current home, but I don't have a real estate agent. Great. I know a real estate agent who can list your house. Right. Would you happen to qualify for any of the following discount programs? I'm a state employee. I'm a veteran. Now, again, and this is good because this particular example, I'm working with somebody who's in the capital city. So they do really well with, like their company has, so they say, they do really well with government workers and state employees. Cool. Let's find out if that's them. If they say they're a veteran or active duty, you already know VA. They're able to make a larger down payment, conventional. I'm a first-time home buyer. That's probably FHA or something like that, or not applicable. What is your first name? Now, there's a strong reason why I word it this way. I don't ask for their name. I don't want you to tell me. Let me stop sharing here and go back to Trevor. I'm assuming your name is, forgive me if I butcher this, Signs? I'm gonna call it Trevor Signs. You're much more likely to tell me your name is Trevor than your name is Trevor Signs. There's a gajillion Trevors. There's only probably one or two of you. There's this feeling of, I don't want to quite give up this information yet. And so when you ask for the last name on a survey up front, it can be problematic. And you can lose a lot of people in that process because they feel like it's a violation. They feel like almost like an intrusion. It's weird how people behave, but they'll tell you all day long that the name is Trevor. And so I like to get that. And the other part of it is it's not that relevant to a sales conversation. It's not that relevant to this part of the process. It's relevant when I talk to them. Hey, Trevor, I'm just trying to fill out your application here. What's your last name? How do you spell that? I'm gonna get it then. So, I got the pronunciation right. That's great. So that's why I like to ask for first name. I don't need the last name. I don't need to ask anything that isn't critical. I want to ask questions that really qualify or disqualify people. Shouldn't grade be at the top for a credit score on a survey question? Yeah, it can be. It can be. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. So I like to, sometimes there's stuff that I miss. So I rely on good people to point those out to me. You can put grade at the very top. So that's the whole point on that. Don't ask for information you don't need unless it's something that's going to qualify or disqualify somebody. All right, let's go back to it. All right, so first name. Now, you remember at the beginning of the survey, I talked about they'd see if they instantly qualify. Here's what I mean by that. Now, of course, there's no way to do a pre-qualification or anything like this. Again, I'm not using language that you're used to. I'm using language that they're used to. If somebody says they want to buy a house within 1 to 2 months, or 1 to 3 months, whatever it is, they have a job. They can afford a payment that is in line with your market. They have funds needed for a down payment. They don't have poor credit. And they answer those questions. The chances that they can actually get, if those are true, if that is true, and they're not lying to you, the chances that they can move within 60 days is extremely likely. All they have to do is actually do it now. All they have to do is actually finish the process, complete an application, get pre-qualified. It can happen. So you'll notice here, this is a little trick that I like to do, and I'll explain the logic behind this. You notice I haven't asked for phone number, I haven't asked for email, nothing like that. I want to show them a result first. And I believe this is powerful. This is a powerful element to getting more people to fill things out, to get completions on your survey. I don't care if you do this on any vertical, insurance, mortgage, retirement. Give people what they want. You know what they want? They want a result. They want you to be honest with them. They want you to tell them if this is what they get or not. Don't waste my time, is what they think. So if all those things are true, meaning I haven't kicked them out, and they've made it through the gauntlet of the questions, well, it is extremely likely that they can buy a home within 60 days. They just have to actually do it. They have to actually pick up the phone now or, have a conversation. Are you ready to get pre-approved for your new home? Now, listen, now I'm asking the questions. Bring this back to the dating world. Now I'm asking for the commitment. Like, we've gone this far, we're asking for some commitment now. It'd be a lot different if I asked this on the first question. You guys see this? Do you guys understand the psychology behind that and the reasoning and just the logic behind that? You've brought them through this process, and we've taken a lot longer on it, obviously, because I've talked a lot and I've rambled. But I'm showing them what's going on. Are you ready to get pre-approved? Yes. Now, what is your email address? Now, what is your phone number? Thank you for your submission. Schedule a time to review your results and get instantly pre-approved. This is a separate thank you page. It redirects. Once they answer those last questions, it gets redirected to this page. And I want them to schedule an appointment. Now, there's a couple things, and Stephen, you would ask the question, can I just run them to a like a phone? Can I get them now to call? You guys can hear my kids. They don't scream until I'm on the phone. So that's what happens when you work from home. If I wasn't on a call, I'd go tell them to knock it off and I'd spank their behind. So I'm just kidding. But I am gonna do that. If you guys hold with me 1 second. Boys, be quiet. Go play upstairs. The joy of doing things live. John, yes, it will be posted as a replay. Absolutely. Okay, so once I hit that second page, I have my conversion tag on that page. It trips it. It gets counted as a lead. I could make a third page and say redirect after they schedule an appointment. You could do that too, and that will work. Now, what you can do is you can take them to any page you want to. It doesn't have to be a Survey Gizmo page. You can take them to any website page you want to, and you can put your phone number on there and they can call. You can do that. For that, I would do ad scheduling. Remember I talked about ad scheduling? I talked about ad scheduling. If I'm going to do the phone calls, I'm only going to run my ad probably 9 to 5 or during working hours. I don't want people calling my phone at 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. on a Saturday night. So that's where ad scheduling makes sense, is if the call to action is for them to phone in or call. But schedule an appointment, let that run all day, every day. And I use Calendly. I can just embed my calendar, whether you use Acuity or HubSpot or whatever you might use, anything. There's a million of them. You can embed that hopefully on the thank you page and it will work. Any questions on the survey? Does anybody need to see anything else on that? Give this a second here. Sorry guys, there's a delay here. So I've already talked to you guys. I haven't heard what I've said yet. So I'll try not to let this go too long on the waiting here. Does anybody have any questions on the actual survey itself? Trevor, you can do that as well. Run ads, one for open, one for, you can do that. Yes, it's a little bit more work, but it's not too much work. You can run one that's for the phone call and one that's for not, or you can just run one ad and just, let it run. You can do that too. Probably another video, but how do you set up remarketing campaigns for people who don't set up a call? You know what, Landon, I'll show you that. Let's do that. It's a good question. All right, let's go back to Google Ads. Share screen. All right, so within my Google Ad account, I'm just going to go to Tools and Settings. We'll go to Audience Manager. Yes, let's leave this. And I'm going to create a new remarketing list out of website visitors. And you can do a couple different things. This looks a lot like Facebook's version, just a little bit different. I can do visitors of a page who did not visit another page. So as we have our multiple pages in our ad, our funnel, so to speak, I could do people who hit the survey, but didn't hit the thank you page. Here's the thing, and before I get there, let me finish this up here. I can keep them in here for up to 540 days. Here's the way that I like to do it. I like to create multiple duplications of these pages, or these audiences, based on different time durations. So I'll have one who's only on here for a day. If I have an evergreen retargeting ad, meaning it's just an ad that just was running all the time, I will create different ads for different people in different lists. I know this is really kind of geeky. Let me try to explain it this way. So imagine, think about your buyers, and you have this thermometer, right? At the very beginning of the thermometer, you have people who are really cold. You have people who are kind of in the middle. You have people who are kind of getting warm. And then you have people, this is my best attempt at a heat thermometer. You get the point though. You got people who are hot. Now, people who were on your page 540 days ago, they're probably right here. When it comes to their interest, odds are they're no longer interested. Maybe they bought a house, maybe they died. Who knows? But they're different. They're in a different spot. The people who were on your page the same day or within the last 24 hours, they're right here. You've got all these different variations, right? You've got maybe 30 days, 90 days, 120 days, 150 days, 180 days. Right? The further down, the longer it was. People 540 days ago don't even remember. They have no recollection who you are, what your ad was. 30 days, they don't even really know. They don't know. So they're right there. So the ad that you create on a retargeting video, the message, again, the script, is different for this guy or gal than it is for this guy or gal, because they're way more interested. They're way more interested. They're way more ready, or they think they're ready, or they're investigating that they're ready. So what I like to do on Google Ads is I create different audiences for different durations. So when they fall off one, they go to the next. So I might create 4 or 5 different ads. One that's way more urgent. It stresses the urgency of doing things right now, finishing this, versus the 540-day one. It's more probably like branding, right? And so think about it in that regard. But I would create the audience. You can go back to the last 30 days, assuming you had your tag installed correctly, and you would hit create audience. But it's essentially this: visited this page, unvisited that page, survey, thank you page. And that's how you would create that. And then when you're creating your actual ad, in your audience, just go here, fast forward through all this stuff. In your audiences, right here, any audience, you go to browse, and you have your remarketing and similar campaigns right here. So you have all your different audiences, and that's your remarketing audience. And that's what you would select. So I hope that answers that. Does that answer your question? Let's see. Let's see. Awesome, man. Let's get deep in the funnel. What are you doing in your scripts to get them to book that call? So like on the remarketing video, it's basically, again, it's a high urgency level offer. It's, I'll call out that they were just on the page, that we didn't get a chance to actually complete it. Maybe distractions came up. I get it. Click on the button right now while this offer lasts. What's the campaign optimized for when retargeting leads, Trevor? optimize for leads, maximize conversions. I don't do TCPA until I have data, at least 50 conversions. Google will tell me 15, but I wait till I get at least 50. All right. Thanks, Derek. Good to see you on the call, man. What is the campaign? Answer that question. Let me go back up a little bit more. One thing I do want to touch on, and this would be true, I just kind of hit on it a little bit. In the campaign objective, you guys remember I went to leads and I went to maximize conversions. There was another option there for target CPA, cost per action. This is where Google now has good data, has sufficient data to where they will begin to learn, right? We're feeding it. And I guess I'm looking at comments for a second. It has data and you start feeding it data, it starts to learn. Your account, when you're starting out an ad, if you've never run ads before, you're very new to running ads, think about your account like a baby. It's a small child. You've got to let it mature. You got to let it grow and learn some things. And that's only going to happen when you feed it good data. Good data is conversions, what's working, what's not working. And that's how you can do. I'll actually talk about pruning next and refining so you can get better cost per leads and kind of know your analytics. Do you use review videos for retargeting? Yes, I do. Great use of retargeting is review videos. Here's the thing about retargeting though on YouTube. You cannot retarget video. You cannot retarget an audience to get 1,000 people in the audience. Just keep that in mind. 1,000 people have to be in your audience for you to retarget them. So one thing that I do is this is where Facebook comes into play for me. I retarget on Facebook. Facebook, I create a custom audience. I put my pixel in the same place. I put my global site tag, and I create an audience for people who hit that landing page or that page, and I retarget there. Unless I've got just such a large audience, then I retarget on YouTube. But review videos, testimonials, great way. But here's the thing that most review videos lack is they don't have specific call to actions. So if your review video has specific CTAs, that's great. Otherwise, you're just spending money and people are watching testimonial, but they don't know what to do next. So it's the equivalent of writing a Facebook ad copy, not telling people to click the button or like anything. You know, what do I do as a viewer? So if your testimonial has that, that's a great use. One thing also, I think Dylan asked the question, you know, or a related question. One of the biggest mistakes that I would say that most people have when it comes to who are used to Facebook ads, there's probably a number of people who are used to Facebook advertising. One big mistake that most people have is they think what works on Facebook is going to work on YouTube. And it just doesn't a lot of times. So I'll give you an example. On Facebook, you see a lot of videos where it's the square video, the 1080 by 1080 video with the wrapper, has the text on the bottom and the top. Those don't work as well on YouTube. They just don't. They don't convert as well. They work great on Facebook. They work great on Instagram. They don't work as great on, they don't really work great at all on YouTube ads. So you have to think about different ways to do that. So one thing that I do for the testimonial is I'll do the testimonial, but I'll also edit in like me talking, giving a call to action at the very end. Like I want to tell people what to do. Do you use Tag Manager to manage pixels or tags? I do for some accounts. I don't for others. I just don't. I probably should, honestly, but it's another thing I have to manage, and I just don't want to. You don't have to. I'd say if you're at scale though on one page. So here's where I like Tag Manager. If I'm going to put in like a bunch of different code or snippets on one landing page, if I'm doing that, then I will use Tag Manager. But if I'm just doing like a global site tag, event snippet, and Facebook pixel, I'm okay just putting it there in the header. If you got all these different events, if you've got all these different things, that's when I would say Tag Manager is a better, at least in my opinion. You know, some people just love it because they love it, and I'm not one of those people. I want to show you guys next, going back to an ad on how to actually prune and refine. So I mentioned, you know, this was something that we work with our clients who are in Major League Video Marketing, who go through our coaching program. is, this is where I think a lot of the value comes in, is kind of the hand holding on refining and pruning. Because if you spend 10 to 15 to 25 to $50 a day, $100 a day, you're going to get a lot of data, but a lot of data is going to be bad data. And by bad data, I mean it's a lot of people who don't convert. You're going to get a lot of people who it's going to spend money on things that don't work. Ages, demographics, different audiences, different locations. And so you cast a wide net, and then you kind of do that. The best way I can explain this is with YouTube ads, at least my philosophy, the way that I do it is, I understand like it's this big bush, like think of this big, massive tree. I want to, over time, go Edward Scissorhands on it, and I want to turn that tree into like a bonsai tree. I want to get rid of the stuff, the shrubbery, the branches, and things that don't work, the things that are expensive on a cost per lead or cost per sale. And I only want to spend money on the things that do work. The problem with that is I have really good ideas on what that's going to be in the beginning, but I don't always know, because it doesn't always work the same. And so that's why I like to cast a wide net and I refine down. Now, I will say this, there are some offers, mortgage being one of them, where I just go ham on just what I know is going to work, and that's it. But for newer things, especially for you in your area, if you've never run an ad, I would follow this strategy of casting a wide net and pruning down. I'll show you how to do that and what to look for. Let me go back to let me pull up an actual ad. Give me 1 second while I pull one up. Sorry guys, give me 1 second while I pull one up. Okay, here's a good example. Let me share my screen. No, sorry, that's not a good one. I'm going through a list of just campaigns here. I'm going to find one that is. Aha, here we go. All right, let me share this. This was a mortgage campaign that I ran for 5 months, 4 months. I started out spending about $50 a day on it. You can see we spent our views and our conversions, or very, very mirrored, right? So red is conversions, blue is views. That's not really relevant. But this was when I was spending about $50 a day getting conversions, and I started backing it down. Just backing it down and letting it float. Ultimately, for about 2 months, I was running it at about $5 a day because we were getting leads off of it. And this person didn't need a whole lot. Now, this campaign is one of many, and this campaign generated 293 leads in the Sacramento area, which is where I was originally from, Sacramento, or that area, I should say. And our average lead cost was $6.65. That was our average cost per lead, and spent, $19.50. Cost per click $1.13. Really good results. It wasn't always this way. I had to go into it, and I had to think, okay, what is working, what's not working? So I went into my demographics, and I thought, okay, let's exclude the stuff that's not working. So like if I were looking at this, if this were live, I'd think, okay, I have 49 leads here. I mean, it's hard to say because these are all within KPI, but I look at my cost per conversion, my number of conversions, and my cost per conversion. And then I balance this out with conversations with the mortgage lender, and I say, what's working for you? Like, who are you having the best conversations with? Because it's cool that you get 69 conversions here, but if not a single one of them is a good conversation, but these 49, like almost all of them are, or vice versa, that's what I want to know. That's the intel I need. And so this, I'm going to show you guys the video on this too. I think it's be funny. I don't know if I deleted it, but I'll see if it's in there. Like I look at these metrics, I think, okay, where am I wasting money? And where's the client, the mortgage loan officer, or if it was you, you would know,
Where am I having the best results at? I'll give you just a breakdown of what these metrics look like, or what these things mean. Conversions is leads, people who hit the thank you page or the calendar page. Cost per conversion, the number of times my ad was shown to that demographic. And views, meaning people who watch 30 seconds or more. View rate is the amount of people who were shown the ad that actually became a view. So right here, I'm about 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4 people watch the ad in this age range. And it's actually higher throughout. So I look at that. And say, okay, where's this ad resonating? It's clearly resonating. Just all the numbers point to it resonating right in this age range, 45 to 54. And this is why, and actually my lender was really stoked with this, because these are great customers. These are people who are established. They're established in their life. And a lot of them were selling houses already. So it was great for them to make referral connections to real estate agents. They're not first-time home buyers. Clicks, cost per click, the metrics are pretty much the same. I look here and I think, okay, who's watching the ad? And my video is about 2 minutes long, so this is pretty much going to line up pretty close with, it's a little bit longer than that, but 25%, 50%. I look at these metrics and I look at all these things together and I think, okay, where is this not performing? This age range, again, or one aside from this, is watching a lot of the video. A large portion of these impressions and views are watching it to completion. And this is great, right? I have 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes of this video, which I think is about 2.5 minutes. And they're watching the video and they're watching to completion and they're becoming leads, then it makes my conversations with them and this is a bias. I'm biased. Of course, I'm going to like YouTube ads better than Facebook ads for the most part. But these are important metrics that I need to know. Side note, I think Facebook ads are great. I think you should, if you know me, if you follow any of my, if you're in my funnel, so to speak, you see 1,000 Facebook ads from me. I don't neglect Facebook ads. I run a lot of Facebook ads. But I just really like this for my funnel is YouTube ads. Now, I always want to go back and I want to look at age. I want to look at gender. These things are pretty common. Now, here I might say, let's take it. If Google doesn't know, let's not spend money on them. If I was really trying to dial this in. Parental status, same thing. Take out the unknowns here. And I would just select it, and click exclude from group. Household income, you're going to see that lower 50% is going to dominate. Of course it's going to dominate. They don't own homes yet. Google probably thinks that they're lower 50% because they're not homeowners. They're probably renters. That's one metric, right? There could be a lot of variables as to why that. It could also be that just a lot of people want to buy houses, but they can't, and so they see an offer and they want to click through. It happens. I was doing this before. I was kicking people out on the down payment question also. So the more questions you ask with conditional logic, meaning you kick them out based on their answers, the more likely you're going to have lesser leads, but the leads that you get are going to be better, in theory. But I can see how this, these aren't bad numbers. I mean, a $9.58 lead for top 10%. I could have, if this was presenting really bad opportunities for the loan officer, just turn this off. Even though it's getting the best leads, I'd rather take this money and only funnel it into this. So I want to look at my numbers. I don't want to create ads and assume, because when I assume, I usually assume wrong. Unless I just know exactly what I'm doing, I try to let Google, I allow the data to make the decision for me. And that's one thing as a marketer that is problematic, and that you're going to find as you run YouTube ads can be very problematic for you, is that you think you know, and you might know. There's a really good chance you don't know. And so just allow the data to be your guide. And so that's what I mean by taking an ad and letting it be a big bonsai tree, and then, or letting it be a big bush and then turning it into a bonsai tree. Like you take this massive oak and then you whittle it down. Do I run Google search? I run Google search and display ads. Yes, Trevor, I do. Brand building, yes. Old people will watch anything. They do. You'll find too, you can see where your ads show up, Trevor, and without fail, almost every time. The number one, it's funny. It's a funny trend that I see. Always at the top of my list on all my ads, where my ads are shown, is Fox News. People who watch Fox News watch my ads the most. Do you believe in going right from the first video to the survey page, or to build an audience over several videos and then hitting them up with a fourth or fifth video? Alina, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right, Alina. This is direct response, and so I go from ad to survey. I do a lot of brand building, and I actually work with a lot of people, a lot of our students, and I love the concept, but it's one of patience. You have to be patient for it, of brand building and making just digital billboards along. And I think this is really important for people in the local, like you're the local loan officer. So I think it is important to make videos like this, where it's just your brand, it's just your value proposition, and you're putting it out there with not really the expectation that you're going to get leads from it, but you're doing so with the expectation that the leads that you get from other sources, the conversations that you have are more enhanced, and they're just better because they see you. You want to be, Alina, you want it to be when you're checking out at the grocery store, the checker looks at you and goes, "Man, I see you on YouTube all the time." It's almost like you're a celebrity. And then you put on your salesman hat and you think, "Yeah, tell me more about what you're doing. Tell me more. Are you looking to buy a home? Tell me why you think you can't buy a home." And then it enhances those conversations. So I'm a big proponent of that strategy. So if they put that they have poor credit or no down payment, and you don't want them as a lead, what do they get for a result? Instead of a thank you page, do they get a sorry page? Yes, Kitty. They get they get redirected. Instead of to a thank you page, they get redirected to a page that says sorry. Essentially, in so many words. I mean, I make it diplomatic. I don't insult people. I don't do any of those things. I just tell them that based on their answers, that there's not a program available for them. And they never hit the conversion tag. So I keep my tag data, the data that hits my tag, as clean, as pure as possible. I want my tag to be like Heisenberg blue. Is there any other questions either on analytics, metrics, how to think about metrics, how to think about the funnel, how to think about targeting, how to think about the script? I'm trying to think if there's, oh, you know what? I told you guys I would show you my ad. I hope this works. So I'm gonna actually show you a video. Do you guys want to see, I don't know who's still on. Do you guys want to see the video that actually generated the 293 leads just in that one campaign? It's really ugly. And the reason why I'm okay showing you is because I want you to understand that this stuff, you don't have to have a polished looking video. Like, it is intentionally ugly. It's intentionally ugly. And I do it to almost prove a point. Look, I have a camera here, a camera there. I've got drones. I've got cinematic cameras. I got all kinds of gear. But yes, Trevor, you can certainly do that. You can redirect if you work with a credit repair specialist. It's completely subjective. But I'll show you guys the video that I use to generate these leads, and then you're gonna look at it and you're gonna be like, "Holy smokes!" Like, it's cringeworthy. Like, I look at it and I cringe. Okay, enough blabbering. Let's actually get to it. I hope this. I'm gonna see if it works. I'm gonna see if I still have it. I might be promising something I can't deliver on. Let me see if it's still in here. Oh, I think it is. It is. All right, guys. I'm gonna show this to you. Let me share my screen. And I'm going to assume the audio comes through. To generate these leads. And right, then, so you should be seeing the screen. You're going to look at it and you're going to be like, real quick. Holy smokes. Like, it's me on a cell phone in a local neighborhood. I talked about go to a neighborhood where your customers I hope are likely to buy. And you can see it's going to have this natural progression, right? People are going to skip out of the ad. That's all. What I really care about is, where's this bell curve? Right here it is. All right, guys. Like, honestly, if I was redoing this, I would want to figure out a way to make this be like a drop off. I want it to not be a slow gradual. I want it to be like more steep and then level off, because I don't want to pay for this stuff. Like, I don't want to pay for this. So you should I want to pay for this. This is the fat in the ribeye right here. It's me on a cell phone in a local neighborhood. I talked about go to a neighborhood where your customers I hope is likely to buy. And you can see it's going to have this natural progression.
What if you
Skip out of the ad. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear this.
What if you could qualify for a brand new state-approved home buyer discount program that allowed you to buy a home in the next 60 days? That's right. Within just a few short weeks, you could be holding the keys to your dream home. Houses like this one behind me, 2,400 square feet, 2-story in a cul-de-sac around the corner from an elementary school. It has a pool. The homeowner, Danielle, was just like you. She saw home prices going up and up and up, and she just assumed that she would never be able to afford buying a home. That's when she instantly qualified for a new state-approved home buyer discount program that allowed her special rates so she can get the keys to this home. Down below is a button for you to click on. When you click on it, you'll be instantly transferred to a form where you'll answer a few brief questions, and you'll instantly know at the end just where you stand and what discounts you qualify for. Look, the YouTube video that you were wanting to watch will always be there. Don't allow this opportunity to pass you by. Click on the button now, fill out the form, answer the few short questions that are asked, and you can know just where you stand and how possible it is for you to have the keys to your dream home in just a few short weeks.
I have no idea if you guys are able to hear that or not. I'm sure you guys
click on it. When you click on it, you'll be instantly transferred to a form
where you guys able to see that
brief questions, and you'll instantly know at the end just where you stand and what discounts you qualify for. Look, the YouTube video that you were wanting to watch will always be there. Don't allow this opportunity to pass you by. Click on the button now, fill out the form, answer the few short questions that are asked, and you can know just where you stand and how possible it is for you to have the keys to
What's up, Hammer? I didn't know you were here.
A few short weeks.
Hammer, what's going on, man? Why don't you tell me you were here earlier? Guys, I shot that video back in. Were you guys able to see that?
Brief questions, and you'll instantly know at the end just where you stand and what
yeah, I shot that video back in like May or April of last year. Well, actually, no, I ran that video probably like in January, February, actually. It's been about a year ago. And I've run it in multiple different campaigns. I want to say all in all, we probably generated 1,500 to 2,000 leads plus with just that one video in a year for local lenders. And yeah, I mean, that's the video, right? So I show that video because it's just me honest. Here's the problem. And this is a big mindset issue that I have, that people have that I work with and that ask me questions is, okay, I have all this crap. I got all this, I don't know if I can say crap on YouTube. I got all this stuff on YouTube. I got all this stuff in my office, right? I got it I have a whole studio worth of stuff in California. I tell people all the time, some people like to spend money on booze, gambling, and strip clubs. I spend it on gear, and it's my vice. And so I get it. I totally understand. You think you have to have this really good-looking ad, and you don't. This is the beauty. This is the beauty of it. You only need yourself. If I can get like thousands of leads with that one video, you can get leads. You can get it too. And so I shoot it selfie style, horizontal, walking in a neighborhood, and we go back to the script. The visual is part of the hook. The visual is part of the offer. The power of video and why it transcends even things like text. Because if I were writing a script, if I'm writing something, if I'm writing like I have really good copy and I'm painting a word picture, the best I'm doing is painting a word picture. That's the best that I'm doing. And that's it. But with a video, I don't have to do that. I could just show it. And it builds a different connection with the viewer. You and I are engaging in a much different manner because of video. If this was all via text message, it'd be drastically different. Now, those things all have a place. I'm a big proponent of copywriting and all those things. And that's why I think it's placed so powerful when you marry it into your actual video, because the video makes a different visual connection and it's a visual hook for people. I don't know if Thomas is still on here. He commented, he and some other people, they want to shoot it in their office with a picture of a duck and like the worst wallpaper and wood paneling in their office from 1970. And they show me their videos and God bless them. I love them. I tell them, this isn't going to work. It's not going to work. Go outside. If it's 20 below, that's even better. Like I want the advert, unless it's wind. Wind is the worst thing. But if it's cold or if it's rainy or whatever, that's better because again, that's a hook. That's a pattern interrupt. Thanks, Chris. This is a pattern interrupt that's going to allow them to like take notice. If it's like I'm at the disadvantage. I'm in Mesa outside of Phoenix where it's always sunny. That's at a disadvantage. Take me to Chicago in January. Like, that's a way better visual hook. And that, you just got to think about those things. Like like we've had clients do that who they'll be in adverse conditions and they'll always say like the conversations that they lead with, it's always like a good icebreaker because when they talk to people, they'll be like, dog, I saw you out there like in like gale force winds and it looked like a hurricane. Like it's just a good icebreaker. Phone app for videos which allows you to run teleprompter on your phone screen. Yeah, that's awesome. Casual video wins. It does. I make I use fancier stuff and more polish in like my branding videos, and I do more fancy polish in like if you go to my YouTube channel, hint, and watch the content, it has a more production value in it, and that does. Yeah, Trevor, thanks for the share on that. That's awesome, guys. What questions do you have? I want to make sure that this was incredibly valuable for you. I'm going to stay on here. I'm going to answer any questions you guys have. I'll get as nerdy as you want. Hammer, you're a legend, buddy. Don't let anybody tell you different. I'm going to answer whatever questions you have. I know many of you guys probably jumped to this video and thought it was just going to be a pitch fest. It's not. Again, we do have a program. I hope after being on this call with you guys for almost 2.5 hours, I've at least afforded myself the opportunity to tell you about our program, to tell you how we help people on a one-on-one basis, to tell you how we help people get results. We work with you, we hold your hand, and we look forward to working with you. We want that. I'm going to keep putting out free content. I'm going to keep putting out content that I think is helpful, and I'm going to keep trying to do my best to help people and educate people. And I know whether it's today or tomorrow or the next year or the next month, you'll want to come around. You see the value in this, and you want to scale and you want to grow your business. And we want to help you. We want to work with you. We want to help you grow and expand. And so my heart is that I'm going to teach you guys, and you'll get results, and you'll get as far as you'll get with it. But I want to help you go to that next level. And what scripting resources can we check out? Great question, Daniel. So there's a few things that I do. So again, when I look at my script, I want it to be simple. I heard this in a presentation once. And look, I don't care what you think about the person of Donald Trump. I don't care. What I'm about to tell you has no correlation to politics. None. Just want to throw that disclaimer out there. But I observe as a marketer, as somebody who loves marketing, and I am fascinated with him as a person. I'm fascinated with the whole thing. And if you look at like a Donald Trump rally or a Donald Trump speech, the reason why it's effective is because it's so simple. This is not a slam or an endorsement, but it's very simple. It's very simplistic. Listen to Donald Trump talk, and I believe it's intentional because I do think he's smart like this. I don't believe he's an idiot. I don't. Now I'm putting in my opinion. I don't believe he's an idiot. I think he's intentional with the fact that he talks to people like he's talking to a 3rd or 4th grader. So there's power in the simplicity. Donald Miller, who I'm in Donald Miller, if you know Storybrand, I'm in Donald Miller's mastermind. I'm one of his certified guides. And he said something that was probably one of the most powerful things I've ever heard anybody talk about. And he said, nobody walks in the direction of a cloud. It doesn't matter what's on the other side of the cloud. Nobody walks in the direction of a cloud. They will only walk in the direction of the thing that's made most clear to them, even if it's to their detriment. They'll walk in that direction because it was understood, it was clear. And with mortgage, with insurance, with any of those things, people will walk in the direction of, even if it's a lemming walking off a cliff, They'll walk in the direction of the thing that is made most clear to them. And from a mortgage perspective or a financial services perspective, it is hard to do that. It's hard to talk about interest rates, to talk about, financing. That's a challenge. It's one you have to overcome. So one of the things that I do is I use a website that helps me make my sentence structure and what I say simple. And that is the Hemingway app. The Hemingway app. You just Google search that. It'll bring up, I'll just show you. What am I doing? This is the power of a live stream. Let me pull it up. Let me share my screen. It's a free resource. We talk about Hemingway app editor. That's a challenge. They plug in a template here or a thing here, and you can see based on what you type in here. This is great for like Facebook posts. This is really great for that, but also for your scripts. Like it'll tell you if it's smart, if it's not good or not. So Hemingway app, the highlights 1 out of 11 sentences to read. It gives you a thing. So what I do is I just come in here and edit this, and I'll say, let me share my screen. It's a free resource. Talk about Hemingway app editor. That's a challenge. So if I go, they plug in a template here or a thing here. I don't know if it's going to do it, but here's a good Facebook post. This is really great for that, but also for your script. This will it'll give us an idea if it's smart, if it's not good or not. So Hemingway app, the highlights 1 out of 11 sentences to read. It gives you a thing. So what I do is I just come in here and edit this, and I'll say, the sentences are too hard to read. It'll tell you, it'll grade you, and then it'll tell you like what your reading level is. So when I'm writing scripts, Daniel, I try to write scripts to where when I'm done with it, as best as I can, I try to get that down to a 3rd or 4th grade reading level. Try to make it simple, but now with financial services, it can be a challenge because you're going to say terms and phrases that are. We hear my YouTube playing on the other end. When you say phrases like financing or loans or mortgage, it's going to automatically think it's complicated. So you're going to have to kind of bear with that a little bit. But that's what I use to write simple apps or simple scripts and simple copy, with that being the case. Hey, I want to hear about your program. Let's hear it. Yeah, Hammer, our program is a one-on-one program. It teaches people YouTube ads more thoroughly and in depth. It's me holding your hand and getting it done for you, with you. And me kind of watching over your shoulder to help you get the best results you can. That's our program. It's very simple. We have a community. We do weekly calls. We do one-on-one support. It's just different. It's more in depth, and it goes a little bit deeper. Can you guys still hear the YouTube video? I don't even have it open. Can you guys still hear the YouTube video? I don't have a YouTube video. There's nothing playing. Is that better? Check 1, check 2. Okay, cool. Greg, I want to make sure you took off work. You took off time from work. I want to make sure. What questions do you have? What can I show you? How can I help you? What can I do for you? There is a delay in the chat. We have about a 30-second delay from the live stream to what is happening in real life. But Greg, I want to address you specifically since you took off time from work. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I want to help you. What can I do? What more can I do for you? All right, I know there's a delay, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to assume that he's going to type something here. But yeah, guys, I want to, and that goes for anybody. I mean, if there's anybody, the value of doing this live is I'm going to answer any question you have. I'm going to show you anything that you want specifically shown. I'm going to do anything. Awesome, man. It's good to hear. Greg, all I want to do is encourage you to implement, to take action on this. And I want to hear about your results, man. I want to hear about your results so I can blast them to the world. That's what I want. Full disclosure. I want to blast your success, man. But what questions do you guys have? I'm assuming the video we create can be repurposed to use any website pages. I'm assuming the video we create can be repurposed to use on my website pages that rank organically. I wouldn't do that, Trevor. And this is preference. These videos are direct response. These videos are videos that are trying to elicit a very specific direct response. I'm a big fan that I don't think that should go on a website. I think on websites, there's more of a place for that polished video look, but I also think it's more of an educational piece. With no ad data, you recommend starting as branding awareness and run a keyword? No, Dylan, I would run in-market audiences for residential properties for sale. Do you get, I mean, I don't know how many people we still have here. Do you guys want to see another way of doing targeting that sometimes I switch to? I think it'd be great. It's a little bit more work, but is also could be very, very powerful. Anybody want to see that? I don't know who's still here. I mean, if I can get 10 people in the comments to say they want to see it, because I don't, if there's only 2 people here, do you guys want to, if I can get 10 yeses, I'm going to show this here. Alina, I've tried that. It doesn't convert as well. Don't do that. You get on camera. Just get on camera. I've done that. I've done that style where it's me in the corner. Does not work as good. Doesn't convert as good. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 5 more. It says it tells me a different one. 6, 7, 8. 9, okay, great. We'll do it. Daniel, we insurance leads cost more than home leads. I'd say about double. My insurance lead cost is about $15 to $25, depending on location and what I'm doing. Cool. All right, guys. I'm going to show you guys another way of doing targeting. I showed you the beginner way. Showed you the easy way, the low-hanging fruit. I'm going to show you guys something a little bit more detailed here. So let me share my screen. Let me pull it out first. Bear with me. Log in. Let me just get this set up first. Okay. Perfect. All right, so share screen. So within Google Ads, you have the ability to create what's called a custom intent audience. Custom intent audience is a custom audience that you build that is around someone's intent. Now, here's how Google judges intent. In a custom intent audience, it's by phrases, keywords, or terms that they've typed in that they're searching for on Google or YouTube. So think about this. I can put my my ad in front of people who have searched for specific things on Google or YouTube. Like that can be powerful. And we'll show you how to do that. So I go to Tools and Settings, go to Audience Manager. It brings me here. I go to Custom Audiences. I'm going to create a custom intent audience. Let's give this and let's just do buy a home. It's going to give me ideas. Process of buying a home for sale. Well, and you can go through here and see if it works, but it's just going to do this. If I own a house and want to buy another, how to invest in real estate without buying a home. Okay, that doesn't work. Should I get a realtor to buy a house? Can you get a mortgage before finding a house? You get all these different search terms. And, you know, I can just add these all here. So do all this. We're just going to assume these are all good. And then I'm going to add another one. And let's do homes for sale. These are different keywords that we're building a cut. So in-market audiences, think of those as custom intent audiences, but they're just templated audience frameworks, just templated targeting. If I want to get specific, I would do a custom audience. And we just continue adding these. You know, you're going to go, I'm speeding this up. You're going to assume that these are all good. You don't want anything in here that's not good. What did I put in there? Homes for sale. Let's just do mortgage. And you're going to do this. You know, you're going to filter all these out. You're going to do this, and you're going to add as many of these relevant terms and search terms as you possibly can. You want to, like, if you can get 100, get 100. If you can get, Google's going to tell you 50, but I'm going to tell you get as many as you possibly can. Get hundreds. Get as close to 1,000 as you can possibly get. And there's actually tools and software that will also help you with this. I use keywordtool.io is a tool that I use. Allows me to do search terms on YouTube. So I'll do homes for sale. So as an example, this will tell me Google search data. And I can see here, on average, every month on YouTube, the keyword homes for sale or a variation of it is used 1.8 million times a month. I see the high month, I see the low month. This is a national number. Homes for sale near me. That's a great one. So I get different ideas. And I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking, well, I don't want people in Durham, North Carolina. Oh, we're going to fix that. Don't worry about it. So you just keep adding. You just keep adding. Now, this is not a free service. This is a paid service. But you just find out as many of these as you can. Home listings. And I just look for, you can see home. I just keep doing little searches. I try to find one. Buy a home. It's a good one, right? You know, 62,000. So you try to find. Here's the thing. You need fish in the pond. So when you start to see like this, there's not a lot of fish in the pond. You know, over the country, that means that's like the equivalent of there being like 20 fish in Lake Michigan. Like, it's just not very good. You want bigger numbers, right? More numbers, more fish. So I add as many of these as I possibly can. And we'll just call this good here, but you know, we're going to assume that there's 1,000 in here. And I'm just going to hit create. And then when I build my ad, oops. I go leads. All of this is the same, right? All the same. And in my audiences, I use the ad or the audience. Where we at customer intent. I use the audiences. Sometimes it will do this every once in a while. So if you don't see it in here, what you're going to have to do is just open that up, back up in a new tab and create it right here. For whatever reason, I don't know why this. Sometimes it links it, sometimes it doesn't. But if I don't see it in there, what I'll do is I'll just go Audience Manager, open this up. I'll take these here. I'll just copy all these. Don't ask me why it does that. I don't know, but it does that. So I'll just create a new custom intent audience. And I'll just add those here. Create. There you go. And then everything else is the same. It's all the same. So I use custom intent audiences. Another thing that you can do, and this is way more broad, but I want to first address something here. So Trevor, one thing I do, I actually didn't hit on it, but I get all those things, and then I simply just run it in the geolocation that I want to run the ad in. So I don't put things in there like homes for sale in Durham, North Carolina if I'm running the ad in Phoenix. So I just I use the modifier as the location targeting as really the modifier. But near me, I do like, I'll put that in there too. Homes for sale near me, and I'm just targeting people within the geographic region that I'm looking for. But another thing that you can do, we talk about custom intent. I also want to talk about custom affinity. Affinity is a much broader way of targeting people. It's based on interests and based on kind of a broader stroke of what they do online. And there's a bit of information out there that I would say is not, the education is poor on it. There are people who will tell you that you could target people based on websites that they go to, and that's not true. It's not true. Google tells you it's not true. If you just if you just read it, it tells you it's not true. And but one thing you can do is you can type in, you can create a custom affinity audience, and you can do things like Zillow.com, Trulia.com, Realtor.com, Redfin.com. You can look at all the different all the different sites, Lending Tree, Quicken Loans, all the different websites that people are going to, and you can create an audience based on the topics of what they're watching. So I'll show you how that works. Again, you can't target people based on that website. It's not like Google's giving you access to their tag data or their pixel data. Like they're not doing that. People will say, well, if they have Google Analytics and it tracks them that way. Yeah, Google knows that, but they're not giving it to everybody just to advertise to. So it is different. And Google, in their definitions and their support forms, they talk about this. It's based on topics. I'm gonna show you how to create that as well, because this is another good thing that if you're looking for more ways to target buyers and you're looking for more avenues, this could be really good. So let me go back to this and let me share. So instead of custom intent, I'm going to go to affinity or custom affinity, and I'm going to create an affinity audience. And now here I have, based on the interest, I can do the URL. And so I can do www.zillow.com. I can do www.trulia.com, www.realtor.com. And I like to do 5 to 7, but you can actually do more. I don't want the data to get convoluted, so I do try to keep this a little bit smaller of a list. www.quicken.com. Now I'm gonna hit get estimate. It's thinking. Okay, so it tells us that we have, there's this many weekly impressions available. Of course, your budget's going to depend on that and location, but it tells you the topics. So if people are watching videos related to this, like I know that I have a really good thing going here. Now, if the fifth thing was women's sports apparel, I know that I have something off. That's why I like to keep the URLs to a smaller number, because I want all this to be very congruent. And I can show ads to people based on the topical video. So if they're watching a video on YouTube around this topic, the topic of residential sales or real estate listings, I can run my ads to them. This strategy works for insurance, for mortgage. This works for a lot of things, but keep in mind it's broad. You guys, one thing I did not mention in the in-market audiences, we created the in-market audience for residential properties for sale. Here's the good and bad about that audience. Any in-market audience that you would do, there's always a plus and a negative. The plus is that it's very scalable. People are going to enter that audience all the time. So exhausting that audience is hard, unless you're in a town of like 500 people. It's hard. Here's the bad side of it. Google doesn't know if I bought a house yesterday. They have no idea if I'm in escrow right now. Yes, I used the internet and YouTube to do a lot of research, to find a mortgage loan officer, to find a home, to find a neighborhood, did all those things. But I could have gotten in contract, and Google doesn't know that right away. It's not real time. And so it's going to, if people are not truly in the market, but they were in the market, you're going to have a lot of that too. Same thing with custom affinity, right? Or a lot of those things. So that's the downside to a lot of this stuff. Unless you're doing custom intent, or unless you're doing, honestly, custom affinity can work because it's on those topics. If you're doing topical videos, it could be, you could have some ad spend that's going to go to people who aren't truly, who were in the market. They were in the market yesterday until they signed a contract. So does that make sense? Are there any questions on custom intent or custom affinity targeting? Aren't mortgage leads essentially home insurance leads as well? Yeah, Trevor, they can be. They certainly can be. The problem, speaking from an insurance point of view, though, is, and if there's any insurance agents on here watching, they will probably not echo this. Insurance is like the last thing that most mortgage loan officers and customers think about. That's why loan officers will call an insurance agent like the night before a closing and be like, I need insurance. That happens all the time. It's not thought about by the customer or by that. And so when someone's looking for a home, it could be a 2, 3, 4 month process. And so it's not really, it's a harder sales pool for the insurance than it is for mortgage. Companies are out there advertising geofencing where you can make ads show as small as to a single building. Is that possible to make the location down to a partial mile? Stephen, you can do 1 mile radiuses. You do a 1 mile radius around an address. So I can't do like, the zigzags of a building, but I can do a 1 mile radius around an address. Yeah, geofencing is a thing a lot of people talk about. Alina, great question. How much of your budget is invested in cold lead gen versus remarketing, retargeting? So I weight it naturally more towards cold traffic. My budgets are always smaller for retargeting. I might run retargeting ads for like $5-10 a day, but I'm running like $50 a day for other things. I'm trying to get like fish in. I'm trying to get people in the audience. So I'd say it's not an exact science, but it's probably just based on daily budgets of what I spend to get people in the audience, probably close to 70-30 or 80-20. Can you do exclusions with geo-targeting? Yes, you can exclude zip codes, you can exclude address and radiuses. Geofencing is also more expensive. Any opinions on the difference between Google Ads and this? I'm trying to understand your question, Stephen. So like when I do targeted ads for an address, I usually center it around an event, to be honest with you. So like I did one for like Adobe puts on a conference for creators and videographers, and I'm also doing one at an event in Orlando where I'm speaking at a video conference called VidFest. I'm going to do ads around that address. I'm going to tell people to come see me. I'm going to tell people to come to my class, my workshop. I'm going to tell people to talk to me afterwards. Yep. Do you track abandon rate at various stages of your survey? Yes, Alina, great question. I don't know if he's still on the call today, but within our Major League program, every Wednesday we do a call where I get in people's campaigns. I get in their entire funnel, and we do support. And I don't know if he's still. I haven't seen him. Is Derek Lau still on the call? I don't know if he's there, but we were looking at Derek's ad today, and Derek was attracting. He's trying to do lead gen for lawyers and getting lawyers cases. But the principle applies all over the board. We looked at his survey. He was getting clicks. Follow me. He was getting clicks for, this is the least sexy topic in the world, workers' compensation cases for lawyers in Philadelphia. Super niche. And he was getting, his cost per click on the ad was like $1.12 or $1.08, super cheap. We looked at his survey, and he had like 20 forms submitted, which is great, 20 leads. On the surface, that's great, but he had like 80 that were partials. And so his cost per lead was already pretty good. Yes. So I don't want to say too much without giving you up too much. He had like a ton of partials, and so we track that. We want to track that. We want to look on the survey and see where people are balancing out, because that tells us that there's a problem. Now, we were able to diagnose, at least I was able to, what I think, to diagnose what his problem was. He had some issues with the survey, and we saw a trend. Like, out of like the 80 partials, I mean, if he had just gotten 10%, if he had just gotten 8 more leads, I mean, his cost per lead would have been outrageous. Like, they would have been like, he could have told them 10 grand a month, and they probably would have paid him on a retainer as a marketing agent. But we noticed that they were all leaving on the same question. So we noticed that, so we want to fix it. We want to try to understand why, and tweak and refine and prune and fix that. And so, yeah, Orlando's only a couple hours from me. I will check it out. Yeah, Kitty, so I think the actual conference is being put on by a company called Podfest. It's like for Podfesters, but there's a 2-day conference for video called VidFest, and I'll be presenting there. I'm excited, but I'll be running ads for that location. I'll be putting an ad out that only targets that, and I'll be telling people it'll be cheap. It'll only be for like 2 days, 3 days. I'll tell people to come to my workshop, come to my thing, and I will happy to meet them, happy to talk to them, happy to help them one-on-one at the conference. That's what people want. And so, and then when I'm in those conversations, I'll tell people about our program for sure. And that'll be good. Any chance you could share the link to your survey or a copy of your survey? No, but what you can do is in this video, you'll see this. It'll be an Easter egg for you. The URL is very clearly evident. I saw it, and I thought to myself, I shouldn't be showing this. But if you go back and watch this video, you'll see the survey URL. That's the best I can do for you. I don't want to put it in the comments. Let's see. Any other questions, guys? I don't want anybody to leave this call without feeling like they got 100% what they signed up for. I wasn't trying to be funny. I don't want it to be in the comments, to be honest with you. Because I'll get notifications for days, and I'll probably delete the survey. It's a dummy survey. So it's not really a good user experience. Kitty, any questions? Alina, any questions? Joel, any questions? Stephen, any questions? Thanks, Trevor. Appreciate that, man. Guys, there's also, if you guys aren't aware, there's a ton of content on my channel, and I'm putting more content out. I'm trying to do one a week, where I'm putting out content that is helpful. It's educational content. Stephen, do I know you? Are you the same Stephen Nix that I know? Do we know each other personally? I can't tell. I can't tell by your avatar. I know another guy by the name of Stephen Nicks. I wasn't sure it was you. Yes, there is a replay. It'll be on my channel. Should be on my channel now, but as soon as this wraps up, I'm sure it'll process, but it will be hosted live on my channel. Yes, Trevor, I will be doing that. Yeah, Steven Sacramento. Will I be doing other niches? I will be doing other niches. My goal is to do this. I'd like to do one a week. I'd like to do it every Wednesday, but I probably will have to do it twice a month, just because they're like 3-4 hours long. I'll probably have to do it like every other week. But I'm gonna shoot for. I know it's not gonna be next week, and I probably should have waited so I could have been more consistent doing the weekly thing. But I'm definitely gonna do one not this next Wednesday coming up, a week from now, but the week after I'm gonna do one, and I'm gonna take a vote. So if you guys want to, great question, Lena. I'm gonna get to that in a second. If you guys want to vote, like I did mortgage because it was the early front runner and voted on in our Facebook group. I have a free Facebook group for this. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Actually, you know what? If you just look up Made You Look video, small business, a YouTube ads for small business, Made You Look video, YouTube ads for small business. I have a free Facebook group. It's not a pitch group. We talk about our program just like this call. It's basically structured like this call. We talk about our program, but I put a lot of content in there as well. But I'm going to start taking a poll every Monday, and I'm just going to ask people what they want. Mortgage is what people wanted, so we'll do mortgage. If insurance gets the next vote, we'll do insurance. If e-com gets the next vote, we'll do e-com. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. My goal is that you guys just watch. That's what I want. I want you guys to watch. So the real estate restrictions that exist on Facebook. So here's what I can say, Alina. The whole thing that you see with like Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg in front of Congress, it's a dog and pony show. It's a smoke show. What you can't do on Facebook, you have no problem doing on Google. And I'm convinced that the reason being is because Google just has better lawyers. That's it. It's just like it's backroom deals and handshakes. It's a good old boys club. That's what I'm convinced it is, because like with Facebook, you can't target like the mile radius. Like I think now, I'm showing my ignorance here, but I think you can't do anything like lower than 15 miles now. Used to be you could do lower. You couldn't target based on income. You couldn't do any of those things. Google's like, yeah, we can do that here. So it's just strange. And I'm convinced it's just that Google has better lawyers or better backroom deals with the government. So you can do those things. Now, I said early on, and I'm going to say it again for every freaking blood-sucking lawyer or person out there watching this. I'm not advocating that you do any ad that is not compliant or would get you sued or is in violation of any HUD agreements or law or anything. Do not violate those things. Don't say in your ad, you probably want to get it passed anyways. Don't say in your ad, I just have to say it, if you're an African American, or don't call anybody out by race, religion, ethnic, anything. Don't do that. Don't say it's only good for it's not good for poor people. Like, I know this is dumb to say, but don't do anything stupid. Like, don't do anything stupid. Some life, cool, man. Trevor, it's gonna be whatever people vote for. So people are gonna go to my group, join the group, and when I put the poll out on Monday, tell me exactly what you want. Some people are gonna say auto insurance. Some people are gonna say high net worth home insurance. Some people are gonna say Medicare. Some people are gonna say all kinds of stuff. I have another ask of you guys. If you guys are in any Facebook groups that are catered to mortgage and real estate, I'd love if you guys can share this video in there. I think it's a good ask. You're right. Don't do that stuff. You have to say it because people do it. It's like, it's like disclaimers on, certain like food products or like chemical products. It says don't use this and have sex. It's like, really, you gotta tell people that? Well, you gotta tell people that because people did it. So, right? Don't do that. Don't do it. Just you guys don't do anything that's gonna jeopardize your career. You can do this in a way that's ethical, in a way that's compliant, in a way that is going to get you results. You don't need to go the extra mile and mess it up for you or anybody else. Facebook got attacked by BS groups screaming that it was possible to discriminate. Oh, I imagine they know Google does it too. The skeptic in me is coming out. They know. Google's older, been around longer. They know. Well, guys, I'm here for you. So you tell me what you guys need, what you guys want. If there's anything I can do for you. You know what? Let me grab the link. I'm going to grab the link to the Facebook group. I'll do that. Let me find it here. I'm going to switch. I had Facebook closed down because I was going to get a million notifications. There you go. That is the link. Is everybody subscribed to the channel? Hope you're all subscribed. I'll ask one more time, and then I'm going to go play with my kids. Does anybody else have anything that they want me to show, want me to talk about, they want me to help them with? Anything whatsoever as it pertains to mortgage lead generation. If you guys would like more information about our program, if there's anybody that does want that, if anybody would like to learn more about our program, just let me know in the comments. And what's up, Ryan? We've only gone for 3 hours, man. Don't worry about it. If anybody would like any more information about our program, Major League Video Marketing, just raise your hand. Let us know in the comments. I can have someone from our team reach out and help you guys, answer any questions you guys have. It goes more in depth on our one-on-one program, where I'll do things with you one-on-one. Anything at all, you just let me know. But go ahead and let me know if there's anything else, any questions I can help you guys with. This was a great 3 hours. I'm stoked. And if you are watching this on the recording, I'd love to know if you watched this start to finish on the recording. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Alina. There'll be more of these. I'm gonna do these a lot. Again, it helps me grow my channel. There's a selfish reason in this. I want to grow my channel. I want to grow my channel past 50,000 subs, and I want to get over 1 million views. That's what I want. You know why? Because I'd rather get money from YouTube than ask you guys for it. So that's what I want. Call me selfish. Was such an amazing training and starting from beginner and learned a ton. That is awesome, Kitty. That's exactly what I want. That was my goal. That was my goal. Yeah, Trevor, certainly can. I would love if you would. Would love if you would. Yeah, I mean, the idea is if there's anybody who's in mortgage, there's lots of groups. Share it in there. It's a free resource. I mean, I spent 3 hours just talking about this, and so, if it saves you guys heartache and time and frustration having to learn it, that's good. I mean, I've been in the video space now since 1997, and I'll be 38 next month. Started when I was 16 years old. My first job was working a camera and a public access TV station. I got started on the editing side. Loved it. There was no online video. There was no YouTube at the time. And yes, yeah. I fell in love with video. I fell in love with marketing to grow my business, to help others, and to do that. And so, so I'm just I forget what I was gonna say. I lost my train of thought. But we've been doing this for a long time, and we have a lot of experience. And so what I was gonna say is I've spent a lot of time and a lot of money, gone to a lot of places to learn, sat under a lot of really smart people, invested in myself, and I don't read a lot of books, but I've consumed a lot of content and learned just from scraping my knee and banging my head against the wall. What works, what doesn't work, why it works, why it doesn't work, testing this, testing that. And so if I can shortcut that for you guys, that's what I want to do. I want to shortcut it for you. I want you guys to get it. I want you guys to get it. YouTube ads is it's a foreign thing. There's another reason why I'm doing this is YouTube ads is so foreign to people that I have to, it falls in line with what I want to do, but I want to help people understand and make them aware of it. If I talk about Facebook ads, you all get it, because Facebook ads have been around forever. Like, people have been using them forever. 8-9 years people have been using Facebook ads, and they're much more grasped by people in mortgage and financial services and running Facebook ads and getting leads, and it's very saturated. YouTube is new to a lot of people. Because it's new, it's scary. I talked about what Donald Miller says. Donald Miller says nobody walks in the direction of a cloud. So my goal with all this, just to be transparent with you, is I want to make this clear for you. I want to make it transparent for you. I want you to see it. I want you to see how easy it can be. I want you to see how simple it can be, and get you excited about it. Because if you don't see it, if you don't grasp it, then you'll never do it. You'll never implement. You'll never need help in the future. And that's what I want to do. I want to uncover that veil for you, so that you feel confident that you can make this work for yourself. And I'm confident that in time, by continuing to do this, you'll reach out with more questions. And if the time is right, at any point, you'll decide to join our program. But that time will come when it comes. I'm just going to keep swinging these punches out for you guys and trying to make this path easier for you. So if there's no other questions, I'll give it 10 more seconds, and then I'm going to sign out. But does anybody else have anything that they want to go over, anything whatsoever? All right, guys. I'm going to cut it short here. You guys ask questions in the comments. I'll continue to answer them. I'll see you guys. We'll do another one. Join our group so you can vote on the next one. If you guys want to do another mortgage one, we'll do another mortgage one. I don't care. We'll go with. I'm a proponent of democracy and the free market. So whatever you guys want next, we'll do. Just let me know. I will see you guys soon. You guys have a great one. I'm going to end this bad boy.